South LA man high fives and donates to the homeless on wild police chase. Florida man. Is it possible to learn this power? A chaotic good Florida man would make me fully support Florida man. Right now, I only half support Florida man, because at least he makes everyone think about being interesting. Since we're all talking about leaving Twitter again, can I bring back the idea of migrating to LinkedIn en masse and just totally destroying the professional vibe over there? Yes, please. Do it. LinkedIn is okay as a platform, but oh my god, it's so hollow. Thinking about how in Korean traditional theater, there was a monster called Young-no, which eats rich people, and if he eats 100 of them, it gets to go to heaven. Ah, cool. Where would I get one of these? Asking for friends. Please remember that when Doomguy was ordered to fire on unarmed civilians, he punched his commanding officer, and that's why he was sent to Mars. Be like Doomguy. I feel like Be Like Doomguy should have an asterisk after it, but I'm not gonna be the one to put it there. What's the first thing you would do if you were invisible for a day? I would probably fly to Paris, find a street-performing mime, and beat him to death. The applause he would get would be astounding. Same. Actually, no, I would just puppet him around. Like grab his wrists and like dance him around behind him as he slowly begins panicking. We're proud to launch one of our most challenging projects to date, the Uncensored Library. Oh, I've heard of this. We've built a virtual library in Minecraft, which bypasses press censorship in oppressive regimes. Our library is filled with censored articles, journals, and information on press freedom. Fortunately, Minecraft is still accessible in these countries, so our virtual library creates a backdoor, which allows gamers worldwide to reach this material. Find out more at this website, and built by Blockworks. Absolutely wonderful. Circumvent all that BS. Nothing makes me happier than seeing people circumvent oppressive governments, as those oppressive governments learn that respect is earned, not deserved. My fracking sister got me $50 in singles and wrapped each individual dollar. Good job. It's not as bad as a bouquet of singles, but it's pretty bad. Watch Florida man steal a car, realize baby is in it, drops baby off safely before making his getaway. He's more responsible than whoever left a baby in a car alone. Okay, I don't know the entire story, but the way this reads, it seems like the car was carjacked, but maybe the car was also just running in a parking lot. I don't know. Good guy. Well done. In the 1630s, there was a song only played in the Sistine Chapel. The Vatican kept the composition of Miserere Mei Deus secret for 150 years until 14-year-old Mozart listened to it 2 times, transcribed it from memory, and produced the first unauthorized copy. This is one of the earliest records of musical piracy. Yeah, you gotta watch out for us people with perfect pitch. We'll just write your music down. All we have to do to steal your music is hear it. I downloaded all 10,000 of those ugly Lazy Lions NFTs and turned them into a mosaic of a person right-clicking. Finally, a good use for NFTs. Being nice is so easy. Just do it. Positive graffiti. I approve. The first thing our new hire did was fix a bug that's been bugging him forever as a user prior to joining. He then breathed a sigh of relief and submitted 2 weeks' notice. What the frack? I've heard this story before. I don't know if it's just being copied or what, but this is also something I would do because so many apps don't support text-to-speech. I would work there until all of the text was selectable via text-to-speech, and then I would leave. I worked at McDonald's for 2.5 years, and I put 11 nuggets in almost every 10-piece I made. Cody, you're a hero. Thinking about the homeless man in Austin, who I used to pay $15 to wash my car while I went out, and one night I came back, and all the cars around mine were broken into except mine, and he was sitting on my hood and said, "I ain't let them touch this one, Miss Kenzie." Oh my god, that's kind of magical. I'm also glad that you were giving money to him to do something. That's just a positive transaction. I like this. A 27-year-old Jackson, Mississippi man was arrested over the weekend for hacking into the Hinds County Human Services Department and approving all applications for food stamps. After approving the applications, he then had cards mailed out to new applicants, all totaling $2,500 each. Current card holders were also awarded 2,500 credits. His bond was set at $100,000 and has since bonded out. More on this story tonight at 10 p.m. Fox News. More on this story tonight on how the entire town is just gonna fund this man's lawyer and trial, and he better get off scot-free. Magical. Hey, secret police, if you ever kidnap me and throw me in a rental van, I will schnitz so bad inside that van. Sorry. I hope you unconstitutional arses are ready to pay $1,700 to get my grown man feces out of that Chrysler Pacifica and whatnot. That's a defense. A bank robber named Pretty Boy Floyd was known for destroying mortgage papers on heists, freeing hundreds of people from property debt. What a beautiful man. Most of those hostile designed benches to keep homeless people from sleeping in public, they are usually just regular benches with the bar in the middle attached later with a few hex nuts and bolts, not welded. In other words, you can get them off with practically any wrench that fits. I have been liberating my parks in my city all day now. It takes maybe a few minutes for each bench. The only problem is finding a place to dispose of the junk bar when you're done without loading trash cans past capacity. Anyway, it's easy, it's helpful, and it's praxis. I'm not looking for a job, but I send out applications periodically just so I can ask about the salary range and tell them it's too low no matter what it is. Doing my part to get the rest of you paid. Aww, that's kind of wonderfully sweet. 1989, a 15-year-old boy in Indiana who acquired the alias Fry Guy accessed the mainframe of McDonald's after acquiring the password from a store manager and increased the pay rates of his friends who worked there. Wonderful, beautiful, and excellent. The single most important thing a man can do to be an ally is give his woman friends permission to give dudes at the bar his number, so when they call, he can angrily say, "That's not funny because she died 15 years ago that very night." Oh, wow. Oh, that's a mood killer. That's excellent. Group of furries beat a person who was assaulting a homeless man and his dog. Good work, furries. I hope they never find the body. My annoying landlord. I pay this britch $1,800 every fracking month, and all she does is complain about is making too much noise walking around. So I bought a dog whistle and blow it all hours of the day and night. Now I complain how much her dog barks and keeps me up. That's the ultimate petty move, and I applaud you. But I also feel bad for the dog. I wish we could communicate to the dog that, like, everything's fine, just please annoy the hell out of your landlord. My ex-girlfriend had a few too many shots of tequila in a party and passed out on the couch. When I went to check her, I noticed she pissed all over the couch. To avoid embarrassment, I filled up a bucket with water and threw it over her to disguise it as a prank. I'm that kind of boyfriend. She still has no idea. Now that's a chaotic good. Chaotic evil. Pissing all over her to disguise the fact that she pissed herself. There's always one. He used Snapchat's gender switch filter to pose as a 16-year-old girl online and take down a police officer allegedly looking to hook up. He tipped off the PD and the officer was arrested. Our exclusive interview with the man and why he did it at 11 on NBC Bay Area. Good job. Good freaking job. After Minnie Cox, the first black female postmaster, was pressured out of her post in Mississippi, President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punished the town by rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. Teddy Roosevelt is just such a mad lad. I love him. The more random people you see jogging for no reason, the higher the rent is going up. This is so true. I heard a gunshot coming from my neighbor's yard late at night a few weeks after I moved in. I went to check it out. When I approached him, he told me he does it once every month or so, just to keep the broader property value and taxes at a reasonable level. I'm used to it now. That's beautiful. Ancient evil awakens. Morals and ethics have changed so much in the last 10,000 years that the ancient evil is considered pretty moderate by today's standards. I will topple your empires and your kings. I will drain the wealth from your coffers and elevate your serfs and servants until they stand on the same ground as the mightiest of emperors. Women shall freely speak their minds, unbound by the fetters you have set, and the lines between man and woman shall be hopelessly blurred and shattered into 1,000 facets. Your children shall fall into one another, regardless of sex or class or wealth, and none shall raise a hand or word against them. The age of crowns and boundaries and divine right shall end, and it shall fall to each human to choose their... Wait, why are you cheering? I'm the host of a yet another HGTV show about renovating houses for rich people, and when the couple comes to see their new beachfront property, I lead them to the door in blindfolds, and then I have them remove them and open their front door, and behind it is nothing. The entire house is gone. I tell them I used the budget to restore the crucial sand dunes ecosystem that existed there before. Look, I say, there's native coastal strawberry. The wife asks if this is a joke. The husband starts crying. I tell them both this was in the waiver they signed. They leave. I get ready for my next property. Actually kind of in favor of this for beaches. Still think you have a high risk of being shot. 3 cheers for Daniel Uhlfelder, a Stanford-educated lawyer who is showing up at beaches across America in full Grim Reaper attire to protest that they're opening up prematurely in the middle of a pandemic. Amazing. Please don't die of heat stroke. I am slightly mixed on this one because I fail to see how you can actually close a beach. That part just never compute. It's a beach. It is the sea. Just let Poseidon know that nobody's allowed on the coast. Like if the entrance to that beach is closed, find another entrance and you walk to it. It is a beach. You can't close it. A man who had a few too many alcoholic beverages ordered an Uber for a baby goldfinch that he found struggling on the ground. The baby bird was the sole passenger on the ride to a wildlife rehab. What a wonderful man. So the company we pay, our rent who sent a very condescending mass email to all tenants about paying rent and forgot to BCC all emails. And now all the tenants have started a rent strike. Well, oh, isn't technology a wonderful thing? My bike was stolen last week, and yesterday I saw it for sale on Craigslist. So I messaged the seller, met him at McDonald's, and when I noticed it was 100% my bike, I dumbly asked to take it for a ride. He said, yeah, just don't ride off, which is exactly what I did. I stole my bike back. Good work! My bike was stolen twice in New York, and the first time our building superintendent actually saw it on the street, somebody riding it, and basically bullied the guy on it into admitting he stole it, paid him $20 to get off the bike, brought my bike back, which was amazing, and then it was stolen the next week, and then I never saw it again. Thank you, building superintendent. I'm sorry it was for nothing. My son's teacher has banned me from decorating my son's bananas as they were causing too much of a ruckus in class. And honestly, knowing my art caused a class of 6-year-olds to riot is probably one of the best compliments I've ever received. I wish I took more photos before the ban. I'd like to know how they are going to enforce you not painting stuff on bananas in your kid's lunch. Like, the kid didn't do it. It didn't happen on school property. What? You're gonna have to run this by me one more time as to exactly what jurisdiction your school has over what you draw on a piece of fruit at your own house that goes in your kid's lunch. Schools are getting real arrogant nowadays. I couldn't find this little girl's parents, so I trapped her with dinosaurs so she wouldn't run off while I find them. This is chaotic neutral. Let's be honest. Like, this is there's some good, but there's some yeah. I have been using Spotify to secretly spy on my friend. One of my oldest friends names her Spotify playlists with specific names. One of her playlists is called Sad Lady Hours, and every time I see her actively listening to it, I shoot her a hopefully inconspicuous text asking what she is up to, that I love her, etc., etc. I hope she never notices the pattern. Sad Lady Hours. Purest thing I've ever heard. A girl's voice in game chat is more powerful than any US Marine. Fun story, maybe? When I was younger, my brother was super duper into COD, and he is actually really freaking good at it. So one day he gave me his mic headset and told me to talk while he was playing, and it was wild. The levels of salt that young men produce when under the impression that a little girl is destroying them in COD is a beautiful thing. That is wonderful. That is pure joy. New Hope Church. God says homosexuality is it. Princess Diana broke the royal rules for her son, William, by taking part in the Mother's Day running race at her son's school. She won. Good for her! Although, to be fair, if I was racing against Princess Diana, I'd probably hold it back a little because, like, I'm not gonna be the one to, like, outrun Princess Diana. West Mirror Fire Department. Caution! Cops like to sit behind this sign. And there's one now! City of Gainesville dumped loads of mulch on one of the skate parks in town. See, I grew up not that far from Gainesville, so this does sound like something they would do. Someone posted free mulch on Facebook, and it was 100% gone by the rest of the day and blown clean with leaf blowers by citizens. Get worked, Gainesville. That's the civil disobedience I'm talking about. Yeah, mulch is expensive. I'm surprised they use mulch, not sand, considering Gainesville, Florida. They are a little inland, but still, good job and free mulch. Las Cruces man breaks into gas station, still pays for cigarettes. I've seen this before. I don't know why they arrested him. Where people break into or walk into stores that are accidentally left unlocked and just like take the things they want and just leave the money on the counter. Look, he even held the cash up to the camera and what he was taking. He was like, I just want a pack. Here's $6. Why did you arrest this man? Kitten breaks his owner's earphone cable and returns with snake as replacement. It ain't much, but it's honest work. It's so wholesome. Dog sneaks out of kennel at night to comfort crying puppies. Aww, we don't deserve dogs. No, we really don't. Oh, we really don't. Probably chaotic neutral, but I feel like art is enrichment, so good to some. Me and the boys after we vandalize your wall. If vandalism, quote unquote vandalism, if graffiti is good and somebody's put, effort and stuff into the art, I like it. I think it's kind of awesome. The world needs more art. If it's just a bunch of tags or somebody just like scribbling stupid crap, yeah, no, burn that or paint it over it. You are beautiful.
Pepper spray, cop!
This is not a tip. This is a gift and not subject to federal or state income taxes. Can I do this? Is this a thing I can do? Can I tip normally on the receipt and then like add a gift? Oh my God. I'm a long-haired native who doesn't steal, so whenever I get followed in a store, I keep the employee on my tail for as long as possible to make it a little easier for people who need to steal to get what they need. I can't outright like condone stealing, but if you are somebody who does, then this is probably the best way to achieve your aims. I respect the intent. Our neighbor kindly came over to spread a grocery bag full of cigarette butts all over our porch today. Killer area. I live on the street. OP is notorious for flicking their cig butts on the roadway sidewalk. This morning, after sweeping up the guy in the vid, blank, volunteered to dump them on his doorstep after a discussion a few of us neighbors had about the issue. I love this. I love this so much. Okay, I think I assembled all of that correctly. I'm not actually sure about the rules of etiquette about this because both where I grew up and New York City, people just flicked cigarette butts onto the sidewalk. So if that's considered like serious littering, yeah, no, this is perfectly warranted. I would still like mention it to the neighbor, just be like, hey, can you not do this? At least once before? But I guess this gets a point across too. I remember picking them apart like at the bus stop and stuff, and they just fell apart in my hands. So I thought they just like disintegrated because they're like paper. But I don't know. I don't know these things. Did you guys know there's a biker gang called Rescue Inc. that breaks up dogfighting rings, confronts animal abusers, confiscates neglected animals, and investigates stolen animals? Can I run your radio system or something? I can't drive a bike, but holy crap, I would be so a part of this. Ohio has stopped kicking workers off unemployment after a hacker targeted the state website used by employers to report employees who refused to report to work. The hacker submitted huge volumes of junk data, making it impossible to investigate workers. I work in IT, so I can't officially condone this, but any state that would have the gall to kick workers in need off of unemployment should probably be prepared for there to be some sort of response to that. That's just how society works. If you do a bad thing, another bad thing might happen. That's all I'm gonna say. If you have an LGBTQ phobic family member that merely tolerates you, take them aside and explain how you have seen the light and are trying to be cishet. There are classes, but they're expensive. You want it to be a surprise to the rest of the family, so you need $8,500 to be straight. Yeah, I've noticed one of the only ways to win with the Red Hat Brigade is just to swindle them out of money, because that seems to be what they're best for. If you steal a giant sign out of the hands of anti-abortion protesters, they'll call 911 and follow you down the street instead of harassing other women. Ask me how I know. You magical mad lad. Thank you for making another clinic safe. Billy Joe Armstrong is like the definition of chaotic good. A prime example of this is the fact that one time, at a Green Day concert, this guy in the pit was harassing a young girl, so Billy stopped the show to help her. However, his way of doing so was to jump into the audience, dropkick the guy directly in the face, and then fight him in a crowd of screaming fans. No, wait, this is missing the best part. When he saw the guy, he tried to be like, dude, stop. And when the man didn't stop pushing the girl around, he screamed, fine, you wanna fight? I'll fracking fight you then, and leapt directly into the crowd. There's a reason Green Day was my favorite band in high school, and Billy Joe Armstrong is it. There's a reason Green Day is still in my top 10 bands. This is one of them. Andrew Murick, a storekeeper on a Minnesota Native American reservation, refused to sell to Indians and told them to eat grass if they were hungry. He was found dead on the first day of the Dakota War in 1862, with grass stuffed in his mouth and buttocks. Get fracked 100! But he succeeded. Fake doctor arrested in Kenya after performing 8 successful surgeries. That's magical and wonderful, and I'm glad you succeeded at 8 surgeries, but I've also heard of tales of people going over there to just basically play doctor, so yeah. When Nestle refused to watch a documentary about the exploitation of African children in the cocoa industry, the documentary's director, Miki Mastari, set up a giant screen next to Nestle's headquarters in Switzerland and played it there. Good job. My foster mother that sent me to conversion therapy wanted to visit me today, and since she doesn't know how to work a GPS, she asked me for directions, and now a homegirl is on her way to Niagara Falls. If she drowns, free tacos for everyone. Beautiful. A Commonwealth Bank. How about you service your fracking ATMs in Bunbury so punters like me will not have to tape fish to them, so you have no choice but to come and fix them. I have more fish and tape and willpower. Oh, I see. And willpower than your entire organization. Fix them now. You know, he's a little wonky on the spelling and grammar, but he's got fish and tape, and honestly, I respect anyone who does. Text on bag reads as. Text on bag reads as. This text has no other purpose than to terrify those who are afraid of the Arabic language. Why are people afraid of the Arabic language? It's pretty. I don't know it. I will probably never know it. I barely pass Spanish, but it's very pretty. UK chef Jamie Brooks lost 294 pounds, 133 kilograms in just 12 months after friend texted him fat frack every day. You know, sometimes you do need a little push. I've had to have my friends beat me over the head a little to get stuff done. Sometimes you need it. Thief returns after stealing woman's car, yells at her for leaving 4-year-old son alone in vehicle. Imagine getting lectured by a car thief and him being right. Question mark? Someone broke into my grandma's house while she was gone and shaved the matted fur off her cat. I want to emphasize that the cat was the only thing altered here. Would also like to add that this occurred sometime between 11 p.m. and 9 a.m. We have no leads, the cat's fine, and probably appreciates not having a huge mat on its neck, but like, that's a really weird kind of vigilante justice still. Chaotic good. Mao's Tavern, loneliest man in the world speaking. Is Mr. Handsome there? First initials I am. I am handsome. Thank you, Bart. I really needed that today. I don't know if this is from an actual episode, but I really hope it is. My dad used to live in a really bad area growing up, surrounded by a lot of gangs, and he told me that there was this kind, openly gay boy that used to tutor all the gang leaders for free. And one day, a homophobe insulted him, and 5 gangs found out and went to go beat him up. You are a bad guy. But this does not mean you are a bad guy. An old Italian gentleman lived alone in New Jersey. He wanted to plant his annual tomato garden, but it was very difficult work as the ground was hard. His only son, Vincent, who used to help him, was in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and described his predicament. Dear Vincent, I am feeling pretty sad
because it looks like I won't be able to plant my tomato garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. I know if you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you would be happy to dig the plot for me, like in the old days. Love, Papa.
A few days later, he received a letter from his son. Dear Papa, don't dig up that garden. That's where the bodies are buried. Love, Vinny. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI agents and local police arrived and dug up the entire area without finding any bones. They apologized to the old man and left. That same day, the old man received another letter from his son. Dear Papa, go ahead and plant the tomatoes now. That's the best I could do under the circumstances. Love you, Vinny. That's magical. I'm not sure it's real because I don't think they would have let the letter actually go through, but still magical. Someone left Taco Bell sauce packets outside of the doors in my apartment building. I can picture the person that would do this, who just got a bag of way too many sauces and just like, yeah, and you get one, and you get one. And you get one. It's very wholesome. Company develops bread with white crust in order to decrease food waste. This is brilliant. The number of things that my brain will not let me eat because of their texture or their color or something like that. And it's really annoying being a picky eater. And some of the stuff like I will gag on. I can't eat broccoli. I will, no. But foods that are just slightly different textures and stuff like that, I'm sure would lead to a lot less food waste. I made my classmates elect somebody that wasn't even a candidate as our class representative. So basically, we were electing our class representatives. I'm in 11th grade, and we only had one candidate. However, it was a class clown, and only a few of us wanted him to be elected. So we decided to choose another classmate who wanted to be a representative, but was too shy to be a candidate, and we told our friends to vote for him. We thought he would get about 25% of the votes, but he got more than 80%. Apparently, almost everyone in the class except him knew about what we were trying to do. The look on the class clown's face when he realized that he was going to lose the election was priceless. Sorry if my English is bad, by the way. Your English was great. I made more mistakes just reading that than you did writing it. Well done. I used the parental controls on my grandparents' TV so they can't watch Fox News anymore. Ah, thank you. We don't need fear-mongering news network making all of our grandparents angry, bitter people. Restoring art is my passion. I like it. I approve. Haryana's Gurugram residents, hold authorities at gunpoint and made them construct roads overnight. 30 arrested. Accidents were allegedly witnessed on that patch of broken road. Is that how y'all get potholes fixed? Now I know. 15 years ago, 5 friends and I drunkenly painted a crosswalk on Dangerous Street in our college town. Shockingly, people actually used it, and the city installed a legitimate crosswalk there soon after. Now it's in a national publication. The case of the gorilla crosswalks. Some places really need this. I don't drive because I can't. Vision. So I go everywhere with bikes and scooters and I walk. And yeah, cars do not care about anybody else's safety. Delhi men become robbers, steal dozens of cars to pay for their friend's expensive cancer treatment. Entire gang busted. 50 plus luxury cars components found. Leader in ICU with chemo. They should have let them all go. Greenpeace drops concrete boulders off the UK coast to stop illegal fishing in protected waters. The boulders make it impossible for bottom-towed fishing gear to be dragged along the seabed. A huge boulder blocks your path. Okay, Greenpeace has their problems, but I mean, if it's protected waters and you're still fishing there, then maybe stop, or these people are just gonna make it harder for you, and I'm on board with that amount of chaos. The way my girlfriend cut around the pepperoni. So nobody has a cut piece of pepperoni. Oh, that's cute. I like that. It would drive me nuts at first, until I understood what was going on. At least once a month, I randomly remember that Dr. Phil once invited the creator of the Bum Fights video, did I block that out of memory, series on his show to confront him about exploiting vulnerable people for financial gain, only for him to show up dressed up as Dr. Phil and point out he does the same exact thing. Oh, is that where this comes from? He looks so uncomfortable. Not the guy, Dr. Phil, like the real one. I love that. Turkish photographer beats up client after learning bride is 15 years old. Well done. Yeah, you put a film cage on a Canon R6 or a Sony A7 III and a 400 to 600 millimeter lens, and that's a felony weapon. I worked at McDonald's for 2.5 years, and I put 11 nuggets on almost every 10 piece I made. The hero we all need right now. Be the 11th nugget in somebody's 10-piece. People think I wear thongs for some weird fetish, but in fact, I do it because they use less fabrics, therefore less CO2 emissions at manufacturers. To be clear, you don't need an excuse to wear one. I'm glad you're doing it for supposedly the right reasons, but you also didn't need an excuse in the first place.
Time to walk the plank.
Sure, where's his leash?
Ah, good one. You're first mate now.
A video is going viral on the internet of a thief being interrogated at a police station in Chaoticgood. I'm sorry, that was just far too many consonants to be legal. In the hilarious clip, the thief confessed that he stole R's 10,000, oh, this must be a currency, 10,000 of these, and when Durg Superintendent of Police, Dr. Palava, asked him what he did with the money, he claimed that he has spent all the money feeding strays and cattle. The thief also shared that he had distributed blankets among the poor. Good! Was his first name Robin. In 2015, a Manchester man started graffitiing giant paninis onto potholes so that the council would clear them up faster. He was nicknamed Wanksy. I remember the picture from the last Chaoticgood, but I didn't know there was more of a story. Legend. Charles Pretty Boy Floyd, a Great Depression-era gangster and notorious bank robber, endeared himself to the public by destroying mortgage papers at the banks he robbed, freeing many from their debts. That's beautiful. Came out of my dad's printer at work today. Hi. If you're reading this message, it's highly likely that your printer is exposed to the public internet via port forwarding. Somebody after my own heart. Oh my god. This means that anyone on the internet with some technical knowledge can send print jobs to your printer, or worse, try to exploit it and use it as part of a global botnet. Yes. If you didn't intend for this, please look into disabling UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, on your router, or remove the port forwarding rule for the port 9100. A friendly cat girl hacker. This was not me. This wasn't me. This wasn't me, I swear. But this is a very common problem, and this is the most wholesome way to do it, because you can just do a port scan of the internet and look for open port 9100s and just send a print job. Use a bunch of commonly used drivers and just yeet it into the port and see what happens. You won't get a response back, but in 2018, a Russian hacker broke into 100,000 people's routers, but with good intentions. He didn't do any fraud, but only changed their settings so they don't get hacked in the future by others. Professionals have standards. I love this. I love this so much. You could genuinely script this, especially for some of the older routers that have really widely known exploits, and their manufacturers aren't updating them anymore. I'm not gonna do a full explanations here, but this is good. Update your routers. Make sure the admin password is not password or admin. And yeah, internet safely. Cards Against Humanity is donating 100% of their profits to the National Network of Abortion Funds if the order comes from a state restricting abortion access. If someone selects I didn't agree to this, an additional $5 donation is added to their card. Frack, you live in Texas. Theocratic hellscape, where human beings are forced to carry unwanted pregnancies by threat of imprisonment. We're donating 100% of our profits from your order to the National Network of Abortion Funds. You wonderful legends. Okay, give $5 more, we'll match it. I assume that's I didn't agree to this, and that goes to so. You don't want us using your money to pay for abortions? You know, sometimes people have values imposed upon them by bigger, more powerful entities, and they're forced to do things they don't want to do, like carry an unwanted pregnancy. For example, we just added an extra $5 donation to the National Network of Abortion Funds to your cart. Okay. More companies need to be this snarky. Bunch of these states out here getting way too big for their britches. Please, people can give them the hell they deserve. My neighbors are too low income to afford a Wi-Fi connection and too proud to use mine. So I renamed mine Free Council Wi-Fi and told them I have read about it and what the password was. My neighbor is now halfway through an online college qualification and I'm so proud of her. Good job. I'm glad affordable internet is coming at least to more of America, because I've never understood how things are now online, even with the government stuff, but they're just like, oh, you need internet. Oh, well, I can't afford it. Well, that's not our problem. Well, you want me to fill out this form. This is your problem. Ex-soldier raids animal shelter with assault rifle in full tactical gear to get cat back. Oh my God. He launched a one-man raid on an animal shelter after he believed that his missing cat was being held at the facility. Okay, question 1. Did he ask for it first? If he tried to get his cat back and they were like, no, you can't have your cat. Like, I've heard of ones like taking dogs out of people's yard. Yeah, no, this is fully warranted. If he just found out through word of mouth that his cat was there and just like went commando, I personally applaud it, but I can see how people could have issue with it. Yeah, you steal somebody's cat, you steal anybody's pet, you best make right with whatever deity you pray to. I was sick of seeing so many people swimming in the river at Yellowstone with clear no swimming signs. So I shouted from the bridge that there was flesh-eating bacteria in the water and everyone ran out. If that's what people need to hear to follow the rules, that's what people need to hear. Raw video. Today, armed activists with the group Don't Comply held their annual Feed the Need event where they gave homeless people food, winter clothes, and blankets, a crime in Dallas. Oh, I've heard of these people. They are my heroes. Their group was armed to deter cops, with one young participant even open carrying swords. There's always the weeb. I'm sorry. It's just middle of Texas. Everyone's got assault rifles. There's that one kid with swords. But yeah, no, this is excellent. Just meet them on their level. I suppose if people thought about real issues and needs instead of manufactured desires, the economy would collapse and we'd have total anarchy. Maybe, maybe not, maybe. Don't let the world fool you. Consistent kindness is the most quietly powerful thing. If you ever want to engage in villainy and undermine the social order, be especially kind to the people society has rejected. Care about the ones the world would convince you don't deserve your kindness. I genuinely mean this when I say to you, the ultimate act of rebellion is insisting on compassion and grace in a compassionless world. Disruptive compassion. Blogging because I have a lot of feelings about this and because I believe very strongly in that the most punk rock and bad arse thing you can do is to live your life with aggressive empathy and kindness. I agree to a certain extent, but I'm also in the eye for the eye crowd. Compassion bundled with proportionate response. I am thoroughly confusing DoorDash support. I'm asking them to undo a refund. Chaoticgood. Anyone else hate cops? I live in a relatively safe country, and most of them don't have to do crap, so I go out of my way to mess with them. Get in my car in the middle of the night, looking like pick related. Make sure to not blink for a few minutes so my eyes are watery and red. Play loud, obnoxious rap music in the car. When they pull me over, I make sure to rip a nice steaming fart. So when they bend over my car window, they get hit in the face with my butt juice. Act sleepy and lethargic when they ask me stuff. They test me for alcohol and drugs, and basically raid my car every time, always clean. Waste an hour asking me if I have anything and getting pissed off at me. After that, they let me go. Repeat at least once a week. I'm pretty sure the entire police department knows me by now because they stopped pulling me over. Next week, I'm going to another town to troll some more lazy cops. I admire your patience. I couldn't do this because I'd smart off to the officer. And while I do think it's good to, target the lazy cops that, profile stuff at a distance. If you're actually partaking in stuff, please don't drive. I actually wish the quote-unquote punishment for something like that was to just pull the person over, make sure their car is locked, and give them a ride home, and then they can come back the next day and pick up their car. No charges or anything, just don't do that, because I don't want you to get hurt, I don't want you to hurt anybody else. Not really applicable to this situation, but you're getting a tangent, damn it. Bank robbery suspect threw stolen money and wished everyone Merry Christmas, witness said. Check his fingerprints? Hollywood has taught me that Santa Claus has snowflake fingerprints. This might be Santa Claus. Ransomware group forces victims to pick any 5 poor children and buy them KFC. It's like if Robin Hood and a chain email from your aunt fell into the machine from The Fly. I didn't see The Fly, but I assume it's some sort of genetic blender. I would actually message them that, be like, can I buy them Subway, or could I buy them like a bucket of chicken and like some non-perishables so they'll have food for later? I'm an expert in making like really cheap food last a long time. KFC does not reheat well. Let's give these kids food for at least a couple days. Sally Hafez pretended to be a bank robber in Lebanon to retrieve her own money and to pay for her sister's surgery. That's amazing. I don't know the context because I'm very bad with names. Why couldn't she get her own money? Dude in the background whacked the eyebrow slider all the way up. Naked woman chases Jehovah's Witnesses off of her porch and down the street yelling, "Succumb to my devil vegetable magic." Wait, is this a mugshot? Why was she charged? Charged for what? This is a public service. I finally live in an area where these people actually come by, and all I want to do is open the door blasting Ghost and like wearing a picture of a cute bunny surrounded by pentagrams and just be like, "Oh, hello, hail Satan." Josef Mensik, the last knight. He lived in Czechoslovakia until 1945, like a real knight, in a castle, without electricity or cars. He even attacked German tanks on his horse in full armor during World War II. Good man. Can you imagine the fear that would inspire if you're in a tank and you see just a horse with a guy in full knight armor holding a giant sword running towards you? Because you're in a tank and he's coming at you on a horse. Like, what is he capable of? Louisiana Senator John Kennedy made an incredibly offensive campaign ad in which he suggests those critical of the police call a crackhead next time they get into trouble. So I registered callacrackhead.com and redirected it to his Washington office phone. Well done. Reminding people that senators work for us and, you know, stapling some wonderful stuff onto the end of that as well at the same time. Update. Republicans started recruiting plaintiffs for a lawsuit to stop student debt relief. Our response? 130,000 false applications were sent in less than a day. Good work, everyone. Republicans do not understand Gen Z, and some of us more mischievous millennials. I will never understand not wanting to make society a better place. Like, if you don't want to make society a better place because it'll cost you, I don't know, like $6 or something, you know, with your made up tax magic money, why are you part of this society? Like, why are you here? Someone was under your car last night trying to steal your catalytic converter, but I shot him with my BB gun twice. You're welcome. If I were you, I'd get something like the cat strap or some deterrent so it doesn't get stolen in the future. I didn't even know there were catalytic converter protectors. I won't always be there to snipe the bad guys. Your friendly neighbor. Aww. Man, I have a bunch of BB guns. This is the best use of BB guns I've seen in a while. Imagine how like freaked out he was too at like 2 o'clock in the morning being under someone's car and you just feel like a really sharp pain in your arm. Be like, ow, what the hell? Ow. Probably thought he got bit the first time or something. Yeah, quiet quitting is great and all, but have you tried chaotic working? Like, I remember back in my grocery store cashier days, I did so much crazy crap. When WIC, Women, Infants, and Children Voucher Program, to help low-income mothers and families with children, people were in my line, I would pretty much know who they were. Before the cards, they had to tell us upfront they were WIC and show us their vouchers for what they were allowed to get. It was awful sometimes, like 2 gallons of milk, $4 worth of vegetables, etc., etc. They'd always have items hanging back, waiting to see what the total was, and if they would have to take it off the belt. I began to place the fruits, vegetables a certain way on the register scale, so that like a half pound of grapes read as like 0.28 pounds or something. Then I got shocked when I said they still had X amount of pounds left. They got all their fruit and vegetables. I think it started to kind of catch on to the women because I would have the same moms in my line month after month. And even after they switched the cards, they worked like food stamp cards. I'd still do the same thing. They were able to get more produce for whatever crappy max amount Indiana gave them. Always be chaotic. It's more fun that way. Yeah, if somebody puts you in a position of power and that position of power has the potential to oppress other people, You can quit. You can just quit. Or you can use that power for good, because I don't think they ever expect that. Because I work in IT, this doesn't really apply to me, because I just make sure everybody can access all their stuff at all the times, because, yeah. But this is wonderful. This is heartwarming and wholesome. Comment on this saying something along the lines of, I want this on a t-shirt. This is beautiful. The post describes it, but basically, I'll explain how this works in function. If you post a meme or like a new logo or something like that, there will be a bot that will scrape the artwork directly from the post and put it onto a t-shirt, generate a new purchase page, and post that as a reply to your comment. To be like, I posted one of the things that like I literally just made merch for something, and somebody said, oh my god, I can't wait to get the t-shirt, and another site scraped that picture and put the picture of my picture of merch onto a picture of a shirt, and then created like a purchase page for it. It's wild. French environmentalists targeted sites near Toulouse, calling golf the leisure industry of the most privileged. Climate activists fill golf holes with cement. After water ban exemption? Why are golf courses getting water ban exemptions? It is a flat surf. Man, just astroturf that crap if you really want to walk around and hit a tiny ball. I lived in a community once in Florida that was like all about golf. Like even the kids played, there were golf lessons for like little ones. I sat through like half a round of golf and I just wanted to jump into one of the lakes because that seemed way more interesting than anything that was going on. Like it'd be pretty if it was a park or something, you could actually run around and do something, but no, you gotta line up and hit this little tiny ball and go, we're gonna go ride in the cart for 5 minutes because there's nothing else to do. The clubhouse had good fries though, I'll give them that. You just have fries in a giant park and I'll be on board. Teacher did one of those word cloud things with a virtual response thing for the question, what makes rabbits so special? I submitted the word soft 600 times. I've never seen this. This would be so widely abused in the schools full of geeks I went to. Oh, we would have been making entire sentences by like sequencing bursts of words. Oh, that's awful. Sometimes you just use what you got, I guess. Mercado El Val. Oh wait, Mercado Blockaval? It's like they scratched out half the sign. They're still a registered trademark. They could come after you. I don't think they're going to. They only got one store, and it's pretty much a novelty. Man fights off shark, stitches up own leg, goes to the pub. New Zealander James Grant stabs predator with a knife, to get free swims ashore, sutures wounds, and goes to pub for a beer. Is this guy part of the John Wick universe, but in New Zealand? Just staggering out of there and being like, all right, I'm stitched up, I need some alcohol. May this be the year in which you stop writing for fame or money and start writing for revenge. Everything I do that I aim for success in is all for revenge. Success is the best form of revenge. Found this walking home after a long day. Stay fracking positive. I like that. I really do. A Ukrainian steals $25,000 in Bitcoin from Russian dark web market and gives it to a Kiev charity. Good job. Welcome to the dark web. I like to imagine this is an actual photo of the hack. Dear Steve, I hope you're happy with her. Now the whole town will know what a filthy cheater you are. From Jenny. P.S. I bought this ad using your credit card. Oh, this looked like it was on a bulletin board for a second, and then I realized it's like a folded newspaper. It's giant. I wonder if the people like laying out the newspaper, they're doing layout, just like sat there giggling like, we're not gonna get involved, we're just gonna take the money and put the ad in and just see what happens. When I was in 4th grade, I was in the gifted program. Oh, me too. And they let us go to the library more often, which meant we had more chances to take the accelerated reader tests and get points, and whoever reached a certain threshold got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. So I'd go around asking people I knew that had a hard time reading what their logins were and sneak in to take tests for them so they could go to Chuck E. Cheese too. I got caught and they didn't let me go to Chuck E. Cheese, but it was worth it. Frack you. Chuck E. Cheese official. We love your heroics. We're gonna deal with whoever caught you. Chuck E. Cheese official. I'm more just refreshed by a brand actively threatening something. Imagine Chuck E. Cheese himself showing up to your house at 2 o'clock in the morning with a baseball bat. That'd inspire fear. Coworkers said she would only accept an official Apple mouse. So I dug this out of storage and left it on her desk. To be fair, this has better ergonomics than the Magic Mouse. And it doesn't need to be upside down to charge. It had a really satisfying clicky button too. Why am I nostalgic for this Cybertruck looking thing? I had to do it to save everyone. Man breaks into school and shelters nearly a dozen people from blizzard. I don't know where this is, the article doesn't say, but I'm sure if this is in any sort of cold climate, like they would understand. They'd be like, please break a window or something to get people inside during a storm, especially given the gear he's wearing. I'm sure they get some serious cold weather and they'd rather people just break a window. Shout out to the US embassies in Austria, Chile, India, and South Korea, who have directly ignored orders from the Trump administration in flying the pride flag. They found really clever workarounds as they were banned from flying the pride flag on the flagpole. They aren't ignoring orders. They are obeying the orders to the exact letter. Malicious compliance. Yeah, the building is technically US soil. Like, it's on US soil, so they can put whatever they want on the building. Also in Mexico City, they couldn't fly the flag, but they didn't say anything about a picture of a flying No. Aha! That's the best. That's the best thing ever. It's like, you said I couldn't fly the pride flag. You didn't say I couldn't fly a picture of the pride flag. Wow, that's such a smart aleck thing. I love it. This is some god tier chaotic lawful evil stuff. No, that's lawful good. That's chaotic. No, it goes back to chaotic good. Chaotic good fighting lawful evil. I love it. Today I learned the first woman to ever interview a US president did so by stealing his clothes as he swam naked and refused to give them back until he agreed to the interview. What? She has the expression of just like, yeah, I know what I did, and I'm proud of it. Good for her. Zoo separates 5 parrots after the birds were caught encouraging each other to swear at guests. Become ungovernable. Man, you don't need a mohawk and spikes to be a punk. Being a punk is about breaking rules. No feeding the ducks. Feeding ducks? Punk is crap. Frack the system. Hell yeah, little dude. I love this. People that gatekeep punk have always just confused me. We want rules in our system that is about breaking rules. What? Teachers, the Supreme Court just ruled that you can lead your students in prayer. I hope you're all prepared to uphold and honor that decision. Bring out your prayer rug, your pentagrams, your herbs and tarot cards, your Quran, your Tanakh and Talmud, your ram's horn, your Star of David, your Baphomet, your Satanic Bible, your altars, your Tibetan prayer wheel, your Book of Shadows. And for those so inclined, your colanders. All praise his noodly appendage. Run. My first thought was that it would be funny to stand out there and cheer them on as Michael Myers says the marathon was the weekend before Halloween. I love this. I would never do a marathon again. I did one once. But if I saw this halfway through, it would just make the entire thing so much better. Model and actress Anita Ekberg, after being followed and hounded by photographers, beat up one of them. When they threatened to call the cops, she retrieved a bow and arrow from her villa and shot another photographer. 1960. Yeah, it's amazing how in America you don't have the right to your own image. Like, I was just reading a thing about Germany. Like, you can't just do this. And it's amazing that people don't expect consequences from it. Always carry zip ties so you can frack with people who park like arseholes. I do always carry zip ties just out of habit because network engineering, my backpack's full of Velcro and zip ties, and this is exactly what I'm gonna use them for. Time to paint me red again. Result. Thank you. I like this graffiti to get things done mantra. Man helps me to not pay for a toilet. I'm sorry, what? So, I was going on a trip with my circus group and we wanted to go by train. I wanted to pee before we left because the toilets in the trains are gross. I walked to the toilet and see that you need to pay 50 euro cents to go to the toilet. I live in Europe. So I get frustrated and start walking back to the group when I get stopped by a man who worked in the city hall, which is in the same building as the train station. He says if you go into the city hall and immediately left, you can pee without paying. After I got back from the toilet, I saw him do this a few more times. This man who works for the city is helping people while making sure the city gets less money. And as far as I know, he is still doing that because I was there just yesterday and saw him do it again. That's magnificent. I've never understood the concept behind paying for a bathroom. I get the upkeep part of it. But like locking the door unless you pay, like you're putting a barrier between someone who can cause biomedical waste to be in the streets and where it should actually go. Like this is not a problem they need to solve. This is gonna be your problem fairly soon. My daughter crying because she cheated on her boyfriend and I told him. Good man. Yeah, no cheat, any gender, no cheat. Today I learned about Tommy Manville, the heir to the Johns Manville fortune. The terms of his family trust granted him $250,000 when he married. As a result, he got married 13 times, giving the women a cut of the proceeds before quickly divorcing them. I mean, depending on your timing, you can get annulled. That is beautiful. As long as everybody was on board with this, like everyone understood, like, oh, we'll date for a bit, or oh, we'll just get married for funsies, and I'll get some money out of it. I see no problem with this. Homeless man arrested for stealing excavator to help man change his tire in downtown. Okay. I admire your ingenuity and engineering. I don't think you should be arrested for this, but also I don't think people should be using excavators to lift cars. I'm not trying to be a terrible person here. I just want people to be safe with hydraulics, because hydraulics do not stop. And if you accidentally drop a car on some guy, yeah, bruh, everyone must have a fruit or vegetable. No cap. It's none of our business if you eat it or not, but it must be on your trays. Don't hate the players, hate the game. And a bunch of stuff I'm only going to attempt to say because I'm too white. Lunch crew. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I require insulin to live multiple times a day. When I was in middle school, many years ago, we didn't have insulin pump and had to use syringes and vials like everyone else. The school refused to let me carry it with me, meaning I had to go to the nurse's office several times a day to inject. It's not just before lunch, but could be any number of times depending on the current blood sugar levels. The district then cut nurse staff to just spending half a day at 2 schools, and the nurse left before I had lunch. I asked the office staff to unlock the office so I could take my insulin and eat lunch. They refused. By middle school, I've been dealing with type 1 for about 5 years and didn't take crap on the topic. I went to the school lobby, picked up the payphone, I just dated myself, and called 911 telling them, hi, I'm at blank school, I am a type 1 diabetic, and the office won't unlock a door and let me take insulin. They sent a fire truck, and a bunch of firemen met me outside and walked me to the office and asked, while ignoring the staff, which room was the nurse's office. I pointed to the door and he was like, okay boys, chop it down. This kid needs his insulin. Suddenly, the office secretary could unlock the door and I didn't need to put it in the nurse's office every day anymore. This was something I never understood. One of my good friends in grade school had very severe diabetes and like 5-6 times a day need to go to the nurse's office, and someone would always go with him in case like there was a problem on the way there. And I would often go with him because we were friends and I wanted to make sure he was okay. But he had to go to like just check his blood sugar. Like anything slightly, and most of the teachers are fine, but some of the teachers are like, I don't know. I'm like, your BS math problems are less important than, you know, him not falling over. I don't medical, but he needs to be okay. Okay, funny long story of mine. So, this dyslexic kid in my class uses a computer. One of the teachers actually banned him to use it. So him and his friends literally printed over 800 Google searches, and the dyslexic kid would ask for a search, and his friends searched for like 2 minutes. I gave him a paper about it. This is the funniest crap I've seen all year. That is wonderful. I was one of the weird kids in class that had a laptop because I took notes because handwriting was hard for me to see, even my own, and typing was giant, and I would also record stuff so that in case I missed something on the board, I would be able to refer back to it. Only had a problem with one teacher once. And I let them have their silly little, you can't have computers in class and stuff like that, and just went like straight to the higher ups. And they like immediately brought her, it was over in seconds. Literally nobody, man named Nobody, ran for mayor claiming nobody tells the truth. That is amazing. That dude has no idea what's going on. I like to litter UFCW literature in my local Walmart to make management panic and waste their time and money. Union something? r/Chaoticgood. Yes, the United Food and Commercial Workforce International Union for US and Canada. That's wonderful. Guy dressed as Yama, God of Death, gives free helmets to bikers who aren't wearing one. Those are expensive. That's amazing. Yeah, dude. Oh, wow. Like actual bikes, like actual motorcycles. Yeah, you need a helmet than that. I know helmets are annoying, but you know what's more annoying? Traumatic brain injury. Takes one good hit.
I plant trees on property I don't own. Trees that will become really, really big. I like to find oak or white pine seedlings and then sneak them into somebody else's property where they won't notice at first. Condos and rentals. The occupants don't care to notice and the groundskeepers assume the owner put it there. So far, no issues, and some of them are getting quite big. Almost 100 around in the neighborhood. Well, hey, it's the Lorax, dude. Come to my house, please. I love trees. This is I mean, right off the bat, very chaotic good. It doesn't have nearly enough awards. Just one? Where's the wholesome seals, dude? Chicago man arrested after repeatedly stealing guns off of officers using a toy dino grabber. You know, controversial opinion, but I don't think people should be going to jail for objectively funny crimes. I don't think goofballs should be getting prison time. And this guy, look at the eyebrow raise, the expression. This is a goofball. Certified, verified, stamped goofball. Greenpeace. Shut up, man. Greenpeace drops boulders off Cornwall to disrupt deep fishing. Greenpeace has dropped 18 boulders into the ocean about 200 miles off Cornwall in an attempt to disrupt industrial fishing. So how does that work? I'm failing to understand why that disrupts deep fishing. Is there anyone who's smarter than me can explain that? I'm not sure what that does. Does it like do the fishermen catch the boulders, or what's going on? I don't. Cool, but how does it stop fishing? It is never the answer. You gotta outlive your enemies. This is strangely motivational. Seriously, this just spoke to me in the most intense, odd way. Yeah, you know, he's kind of like that. He's something of a people person, something of a talker. Man buys a hate group's domain and turns it into a gay furry site. The Wolves of Odin is an anti-Muslim hate group, but if you go to their Canadian website, you'll only see love, because that's how you fight. That's how you fight them where they're at. That's how you fight hate. My dad's a boomer. He sometimes lets Facebook get him riled up and believing conspiracy theories. I have his login information for his Facebook. He knows. Every once in a while, I go into his Facebook and clean out all the conspiracy theory junk so it doesn't get too far to the right or left. I replace the hate groups with puppy groups. Sometimes he'll mention how many dogs are on his feed nowadays, and it makes me smile. Aw, you're just trying to keep you. Listen, the internet, and I think in particular places like Facebook and stuff, can get very vitriolic. You're doing a good thing. Me and my wife woke up at 2 a.m. and smelled food cooking. Our neighbor was so drunk that he mistook our backyard for his and started grilling a bunch of burgers. Well, now you get a little bit of late night snackage, you know? Oh, look at his face too. He is sloshed, but he's cooking. He's on the grill. I don't know how to pronounce this town name. Las Cruces man breaks in the gas station, but still pays for the cigarettes. So you can see there, he's got, you know, $6. I love how he's holding it up right to the camera. He's showing them, hey, I'm leaving money here. I want these. He was out of smokes. He needed to go on a smoke run. Play canceled after actor breaks character to fight an audience member. Me. Yeah, I just looked this up and it turned out it was a production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, a play which famously features a closeted gay lead character. A member of the audience was catcalling female actresses and shouting homophobic abuse when actor John Lacey, who played the character Big Daddy, paused his performance and called him out. The heckler replied, "What are you gonna do about it?" To which Lacey responded by leaping down into the audience and knocking him to the ground. And it's what Tennessee Williams would have wanted. It's true. And that's the promise anytime you go to a play. That's the play promise. Police. Florida man jailed after trying to barbecue all the chomos. Come on, let him out. He's not doing anything wrong. After Minnie Cox, what a name. I'm juvenile humor. The first black female postmaster was pressured out of her post in Mississippi. President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punished the town by rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. And that's why Teddy Roosevelt's the GOAT, dude. Teddy Roosevelt is the president. He is him. Fake doctor arrested in Kenya after performing 8 successful surgeries. Wait, 8 successful surgeries? Like there was no mortalities, there was all good. I don't think you arrest him, I think you just give him a degree, like you just give him the PhD, right? That seems like the most obvious answer to me. A bank robber named Pretty Boy Floyd was known for destroying mortgage papers on heists, freeing hundreds of people from property debt. You are a bad guy, but this does not mean you are a bad guy. It's a very important distinction. All right, yeah, you took from the bank. Oh no, but you freed the common man. You know, I think, you know, you gotta crack a couple eggs to make an omelet, you know what I mean? When I was pulling into my house earlier today, I saw private security chalking the tires of all the cars in the block. So when he left, I kindly went back and squirted all the tires with a water bottle to erase the mess. I was just being a good neighbor. We don't have an HOA, and the neighborhood is a series of different affordable apartments housed predominantly by immigrant non-white working class or retirees/seniors who don't leave their house much. Edit, for those asking, the purpose of chalking tires is to ensure the car is not stationary beyond whatever duration they have set for a neighborhood that they don't live in. Is that for like gauging a robbery? I don't understand why that would be a thing. Again, maybe this is just inexperience talking, but I've never seen that. Is that to just like case a house without having to look inside of it? QR code sticker for Factory Farm Education Doc. Oh, let's see it. Oh! Get 30% off this chicken purchase. Let's go. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Things my dentist has actually said to me. Well, either the x-rays lie to me or you are spontaneously creating teeth. I'm going with the second one because it's way cooler. When was the last time you flossed? Your gums aren't bleeding, which means either I'm not doing this hard enough or you actually floss your teeth regularly. You don't need to do a fluoride treatment. I just want to go check my Facebook for a second. This is the best excuse I can come up with. Don't worry, your insurance will cover it. Take a whole handful of toothbrushes. I can't order new ones in less ugly colors until these ones are gone. Remember not to eat or drink anything for a half hour. Oh, actually, you know what? Forget that. Go eat lemons and drink coffee right now. I make money based on people's bad decisions. You should probably stop brushing your teeth too. I became a dentist because I like making children cry and they don't let you do that as a regular doctor. Is this a chaotic neutral dentist? Your dentist sounds like the dude out of Little Shop of Horrors. What's his name? His name is Oren. Oren Scrivello was who I was thinking of. He sounds like maybe like a more sarcastic, less evil Oren Scrivello. That's funny. The more random people you see jogging for no reason, the higher the rent is going up. Yeah, I heard a gunshot coming from my neighbor's yard late at night a few weeks after I moved in. I went to check it out, and when I approached him, he told me he does it once every month or so just to keep the property value and taxes at a reasonable level. I'm used to it now. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to keep things, affordable for the whole neighborhood. He's doing a community service. The public library made me buy this book because of some incredibly minor damage that was there before I checked it out. It's a pretty popular book that the library never replaced. That was 3 years ago. I removed all the stickers and chips and I'm now donating it back to the library. Oh, you mean this thing that they're never gonna worry about because it's just minor cosmetic damage? Yeah, you're doing a good, you know what? Things are back to the way they were. It's balanced itself out in due time. Oh boy, Haryana's Gurugram residents hold authorities at gunpoint and made them construct road overnight, with 30 arrested. Well, there's a broken road. What do you expect us to do? Just drive over the broken road? This big patch of destroyed road? No, we need you to construct it. I took away all the towel seat reservations at the resort. I was on holidays at an all-inclusive resort. First day, we couldn't find any lounge chairs by the beach or by the sea. Fair enough, we arrived in the afternoon. Next day, we go to find a spot, but most of the spots were taken by towels. We find an empty seat, and to our surprise, many of the chairs stay reserved almost the whole day or never get used. Third day, we decide to take some towels off 2 loungers and enjoy our day. 4 hours in, an older couple shows up that they had towels there and kick us off with help from an attendant. That pissed me off. So every following day, I went to take the towels off every unattended lounger after breakfast, and then went to watch the chaos from my balcony. Many people complained, and by the end of the week there was a sign that unattended towels would be removed. Success! You can't just claim a chair for the day and then not use it. Oh, that's gonna be mine, but you can't take it because it's mine. No. You gotta use it or lose it, dude. A biotech startup has managed to 3D print fake rhino horns that carry the same genetic fingerprint as the actual horn. The company plans to flood the Chinese rhino horn market at 1/8 of the price of the original, undercutting the price poachers get and forcing them out eventually. Hey man, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I like it. I like this move. I like the biotech strategy. I just finished beating someone up and I hate myself for it, but he kicked my cat. That's reasonable. More than reasonable. I just had a roommate coming to my house drunk and trying to start a fight with me, and when I didn't reciprocate, he kicked my 6-week-old kitten. I proceeded to beat his ass for 30 minutes. I feel very ashamed, but I love my cat. It's a 6-week-old kitten and he kicked it? It was multiple beatings in a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, beatings continue until morale improves. That's the rule. I thought we were all on the same page there. My friend is such a dangerous driver. Uses her phone, speeds, etc. She's a great person, but I'm terrified she'll cause an accident, so I purposely directed her down a road I knew a speed camera. She already had points and ended up losing her license, but the streets are safer. You do what you gotta do. Like I said, if you gotta get the job done, you gotta get the job done. This time of year, I grab weeds while I'm walking my dog and weave them into little reefs that I leave around the neighborhood. Specifically because there is a woman on Nextdoor who is furious because she thinks they're signs of witchcraft. I encourage you to do the same and let her think that the world's gone crazy. Decades in between and still doing it. Keith McHenry, the founder of the global movement Food Not Bombs, was arrested and jailed by the Santa Cruz Police Department today for the crime of serving food to the unhoused community members. Oh, the horror! And then on August 15, 1988, 9 Food Not Bomb volunteers, including co-founder Keith McHenry, were arrested for sharing food and literature with the unhoused. Oh, the humanity! Do it again. Do it again. I don't stop drinking because the owner of the bar has a family to feed, says a drunk. Did he say that, or did he kind of mumble that and you did your best to make out what he said? Either way, he's a hero and should be treated very delicately and carefully, or else he may throw up. Hey guys, I just wanted to put this out that I work at Walmart. I'm 16, and whenever I'm working in the aisle, anytime I see any product of Nestle, I put it on an overstock cart and hope that my managers will see that almost all Nestle products are always overstock, and hopefully stop ordering them at my Walmart. I know it's not that much, but I try. Hey man, it's the little things that count. Don't even worry about it. It's the little baby steps that count. A group of Philadelphians self-describing themselves as gutter pagans erased $1.6 million in local medical debt. They celebrated with an unofficial debt burning. Let's go, paid in full! My favorite 3 words. Oh, there we go, we're burning it. We're just burning that debt, getting it out of there. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to see, a big burn. Can we all just appreciate the incredible vibes of my new employer taking an absolutely wild 1-star review and making it into a t-shirt? This place is full of satanic activity. Oh, well, what's the review? Let's see. This place is full of satanic activity. As free-breathing humans, we are discriminated against. The waitstaff refused to serve our laughing, smiling faces. I cannot believe the treatment we received here as if we were below them. If you like freedom, go elsewhere. Damn, dude, good looking out. Nice. All right. Sick t-shirt, though. I love it. Hey, secret police. If you ever kidnap me and throw me in a rental van, I will shit so bad inside that van. I hope your unconstitutional asses are ready to pay $1,700 to get my grown man feces out of that Chrysler Pacifica and whatnot. Grown man feces! Do what I gotta do. Poo where I gotta poo. If you arrest me unlawfully. Signs like these are going up in Aussie supermarkets. Special. We made over $1 billion in profits while you can't even afford bread. It's on sale! Missouri trans, quote, snitch form down after people spammed it with the B-movie script. A Missouri government tip site for submitting complaints and concerns about gender-affirming care is down after people flooded it with fan fiction rambling anecdotes and the B-movie script. The Missouri government checking the website. You like jazz? We like jazz, and we also like gender-affirming care. We took it down. We took the site down with jazz. Zura Karuhimbi, I hope I said that name right, saved more than 100 people during the Rwandan genocide using her reputation as a witch to scare killers away. Whenever a militia neared her house where she'd hidden would-be victims, she would shake her bracelets and threaten to curse them and their families. She would even touch them with a skin-irritating herb. They avoided their house. Yeah, because if you're a witch, that doesn't mean you're bad. What did Zangief say, or whatever his name is? You're a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy? It's the rule, dude. A 74-year-old man uses his hairdryer to slow traffic near his home, keeping the neighborhood safe. One deceptive, silly tactic at a time. I work at a credit card company. Someone replied to our offer by taping the no postage necessary flyer to a box full of their trash in a small boulder. Well, you know, it's important. Dude, that shit's amazing. Makes you amazing? Hell yeah, dude. Very forceful and very smooth with a hoppy aroma. I love it. Richard Bradley, dressed in a Union soldier's uniform, cuts down the Confederate flag from atop the 50-foot pole in front of San Francisco City Hall, April 15th, 1984. He climbed that? Dude, let him put up his own flag. Give him his own flag to hang up there. He was able to take that down, a 50-foot pole, no equipment. Give him his own flag. The man who had a few too many alcoholic beverages ordered an Uber for a baby goldfinch that he found struggling on the ground. The baby bird was sole passenger on the ride to a wildlife rehab. Had to take care of it. And you know what? That was a 5-star passenger. Solution. Before going on flights, buy a plastic pipette. Then, when you're on the flight and this happens, ask for a plastic cup from the air host/hostess. Go to the lavatory and use the cup as a reservoir. Fill the pipette with your urine. Slowly drop some droplets of urine on the poor idiot's feet until they get the message. Alternatively, bring a Sharpie on board and draw on their feet, or write something like, "I'm a selfish scumbag who sticks their feet onto other people's armrests." Alternatively, try and get some itching powder on board. They can't stick their feet in your space if they're busy scratching their feet. So this didn't have like a post before it to like prime me for what this was going to be about. Now that I understand that this was talking about people who put their feet on other people's armrests, this is a perfect solution. I feel like the P one is, you know, a little strange. Am I crazy, or is using words to ask someone to move their feet still on the table? Nope, not at that point. It's about the principle of the thing. Be me, be white. Have job in landscaping for multiple HOAs. Work with a lot of Latinos who speak little to no English. White lady comes up to me. "Oh, thank God, someone who speaks English." Start speaking back to her in Dutch. "Not quite, ma'am, not quite." Lesbian escapes Russia by boat and sails to Canada to be with the woman she loves. That sounds like a movie plot. I would watch a movie about that, actually. The daring escape by boat, dodging Russian authorities. Sounds dope. Burglar gently waking me. "You live like this?" So I heard this story secondhand many years ago, but the gist was that a friend of a friend lived in what was generally considered to be a bad neighborhood, because he was a super poor college student and was what he could afford. He didn't have any furniture, he just slept on a blanket on the floor and had a milk crate for a chair and an old wire spool as a table. No TV, nothing in the fridge, no microwave. Basically just bare walls and a roof to keep the weather off. So one day he comes home and there's a man in his apartment just standing there, with this look of utter amazement and horror on his face. He turns to the guy who just entered and says, "This your place? 'Cause I broke in to rob you, but man, you ain't got nothing. Wait here, I'm gonna be right back." And the burglar left, leaving a puzzled college student alone in his empty apartment. But sure enough, the burglar came back a while later and brought some friends. And they delivered a table, a couple chairs, and a small TV. "I think I got you a bed too, but that might take a couple days." So the poor college student made some friends and he didn't ask where they got the stuff. And that is true chaotic good. That is my favorite post of this entire thing. My ex-girlfriend had a few too many shots of tequila in a party and passed out on the couch. When I went to check her, I noticed she pissed all over the couch. To avoid embarrassment, I filled up a bucket with water and threw it over her to disguise it as a prank. She still has no idea. Now that's chaotic good, but chaotic evil would be to piss all over her to disguise the fact that she pissed herself. No, baby, don't understand. You peed when you were sleeping, so I peed on you to make it look, you know, I was hoping. Fun history facts. One of the 31 people arrested at Stonewall on June 28, 1969 was American folk singer Dave Van Ronk, who was not at the Stonewall Inn at the time and was cis and straight as far as I'm aware. He'd been eating dinner at a nearby restaurant when he noticed a riot happening and said, well, I suppose I should go see what the fuss is about. Stepped outside and immediately started throwing bricks at the cops. Just Dave Van Ronk things for a Dave Van Ronk kind of night. Hey mister, would you like a puppy? No, but I'll take one. Okay, I'm gonna cherish and care for this dog. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Aw, well that's exactly what we wanted. Women shouldn't say bad words. Retweet if you agree. Hello Nick, I'm a reporter with KLWG in Boise. I'm doing a story on men that have never pleasured a woman sexually. May I use your tweets? Well, since you asked so nicely, I'm gonna say yes on his behalf. I'm a straight man who married a dude. Ask me anything. I married him because I joined the Air Force, and if you're married, you get a housing pay and permission to live off base. He gets free healthcare. He's my best friend who's forever single and has mad health issues, including recurring prostate cancer. So you did the right thing. You helped your bro out, and now he's got free housing, right? That's how it works? Or just free healthcare? Either way, he's taken care of. You helped your bro out. Maybe let's see if I can get conservatives to protest more stuff they love. Chevy and Marlboro are next. The Raptor Pride. In support of trans youth, we are proud to introduce our newest line of trucks. Built Ford Proud. Includes optional truck nuts. Aw, we got a gender-affirming truck, dude. I'm a long-haired native who doesn't steal, so whenever I get followed in a store, I keep the employee on my tail for as long as possible, to make it a little easier for people who need to steal to get what they need. It's the little things that count. This is what true chaotic good is all about. Woman on an American Airlines plane duct taped to the seat because she tried to open the door mid-flight. Oh my God. Now, I know that's a very tense situation, but I am living for the day that I see this on one of my, flights. The closest I've gotten to something crazy happening on a plane was on a Spirit Airlines flight. We were stuck at the gate. We had just landed in Atlanta and they hadn't connected the bridge to the plane door, so we couldn't leave the gate, you know what I mean? And a fight started to break out behind us. Me and Brianna are sitting in front of these guys, and it's a dude in the aisle and a dude in the seat, and they're bickering back and forth. It's a younger dude and an old white guy, and we doing old white guy things, right? Being, generally intolerant. I mean, it was that kind of guy, you know what I mean? And at some point, me and Brie are listening in because we're chismosas. And the younger dude in the aisle goes, "Shut up with your bald ass." And there's silence that is quickly broken by Brie letting out a hearty, gleeful, just the most adorable little giggle that only she can muster. And then both of them look at me, the 6'4" big old dude who's standing in the aisle, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, this is a situation I gotta pretend I wasn't listening to now. That's the closest I've gotten to something this natural and beautiful in the wild on an airplane. The Satanic Temple of Missouri adopted the street in front of the Church of Scientology. Adopt a street. Oh, yep, see, it's right there. Satanic Temple of Missouri. Sometimes we just gotta adopt a road and name it after the Satanic Temple. It's just some things you gotta do. Text on bag reads, as this text has no other purpose than to terrify those who are afraid of the Arabic language. And who have you scared? Is there a list? I would like to know who to laugh, point, and giggle at. Oh, we got some squeezy. Sorry, we got some squeezy. Where are you? I f***ed up. How? I went to India, not Indiana. Dude, just tell me you don't love me. What the fuck? Isn't that the neck tattoo guy? I was at a party last night and he busted out a tattoo gun. I was like, hell yeah, I've been trying to get a sick neck tat forever. Well, I was pretty messed up and I already passed out. But when I woke up this morning, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? The guy was all like, that's your neck tattoo, homie. I was like, what the fuck you talking about? And he said, I gave you a neck tattoo. It looks exactly like your neck. I was like, I wanted a tattoo on my neck, not up my neck, you idiot. Then he was like, well, that's your fault for not specifying. They'll give you my $17. Dude, listen, you didn't specify. That's your problem, man. Squeezy, you have to be specific with these kinds of things. You can't just give them a general idea. I always do leave a compliment for Amazon delivery drivers, no matter how they actually did, because they were friendly. You got it. So that way they're, keeping their job. It's a bunch of, it's the little things, like I'm saying. It's been a theme. It's the little things. Pro tip, replace your cat litter box with an Amazon box. When it's full, tape it up and place it on your front porch for someone to steal. Good prank. Glitter bomb trap? Nah. Once my brother got into a fist fight with a trans guy, and when he got sent to the principal's office, the principal kept going like, "How dare you hit a woman?" And my brother got so offended on the trans guy's behalf that he got into a fight with the principal too. My HOA sent me a letter that I need to have a fence blocking my trash cans from view. So they didn't say what the fence needs to look like.
In Poland, a mysterious metal case was found on the porch of an orphanage in the village of Deluga. The inscription on it said that it was a donation. Employees, thinking that there might be a bomb, were afraid to open the find and called the police. Arriving police officers opened the case and found sweets and about $25,000 in it. Okay, yeah, but the way that thing looks, I know that the chain and lock are there for a reason because there's a lot of money in it, but it does look highly suspect. But damn, pretty cool nonetheless, I'd say. Turkish photographer beats up client after learning the bride is 15 years old. Hell yeah, man. Me after I report every military ad I see for threatening violence against others. Good one. Your dog's gay. Sorry. Me and my partner adopted a dog a few years back. A mutt of indeterminate breed on the slim side with a face like a seal. Big wet eyes, dark eyelashes, and a blonde-haired face. He's got a penis, and since we can't ask him his gender, we assume he's male. Now, for whatever reason, it seems like every dog he plays with wants to hump him. All of them. He doesn't really care. He'll tell him to knock it off if it gets to be too much, but for the most part, he just keeps playing. The ones who get pissed about it, though, are the humping dogs owners, who come over marching and yelling about how you should get her spayed. My dog never acts like this. Rah! Their face when we tell them that our dog is in fact not a girl is quite enjoyable. This giant digital billboard was vandalized with paint within weeks of it being put up. I love my city. Yep, deserves it. Bristol against digital advertising screens. I heard a joke a while back about them maybe putting billboards in space, and my favorite response to that has always been and will always be, if I look up to see the moon and I see advertisements anywhere in the sky, I will become a terrorist. Today I learned in 2018 a hacker broke into people's routers, about 100,000 of them, and patched their vulnerabilities up so that they couldn't be abused by other hackers. A strange and rare tale of a good hacker doing a good boy thing. At least once a month I randomly remember that Dr. Phil once invited the creator of the Bum Fights video series on his show to confront him about exploiting vulnerable people for financial gain, only for him to show up dressed as Dr. Phil and point out he does the exact same thing. And to my recollection, it lasted all of like 10 seconds once he did that, because Dr. Phil is a giant plant saver. Oh, thank God. Don't know why the plant was knocked over in the first place, but at least someone was there to pick up the pieces, right? The Indiana law that lets citizens cops. The Hoosier state now allows people to use deadly force to keep public servants from illegally entering their homes or cars. Police, of course, are not pleased. Oh yeah, they don't get to bust into your home without warning or anything like that at all and kill you while you sleep anymore. At least literally only in Indiana. Some residents of this town hold authorities at gunpoint and made them construct a road overnight. 30 were arrested. Accidents were allegedly witnessed on that patch of broken road. Sometimes people just get fed the hell up, brother. My university is greedy, so I decided to post everything I learn about woodworking at an almost $300,000 4-year curriculum. Your university teaches woodcutting at $300,000 for a full 4 years? Wow. I'm not posting this as self-promotion, but to share the opportunity to learn for everyone. The financial situation of colleges and universities in the USA is ridiculous, and this is my way of getting back at them. I don't charge for anything, and I don't ever plan to. I just ask that everyone's civil and follows the rules. There are already 3 assignments you could start working on, as well as a ton of information and material to look over. Aha! Woodwork Robin Hood. Now that is true chaotic good in my book.
Whoa, we've got new merch over at EmKayshop.com. Why don't you go over there and take a look for yourself? This stuff made with 100% cotton is hefty, thick, and built to last. So you'd be crazy not to get it, right? Head on over now and use code BOOBIN at checkout to get free shipping. Ukrainian women are using dating profiles with AI images to trick horny Russian soldiers into giving away secrets, report says. Oh, god damn it. I visited my high school I dropped out of 76 years ago to pay tribute to the popular girls that bullied me to think I'd never be popular. Now I have 6 million followers and they're all rotting underground. You freaking show 'em. After Minnie Cox, the first black female postmaster, was pressured out of her post in Mississippi, President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punished the town by rewriting
rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. I feel like there are a lot of ways he could have solved this issue, but he chose the funniest, in my opinion. I appreciate it. I noticed there was a blank wall at McDonald's, so I decided to make this fake poster of me and my friend and put it up. It's been there for 51 days. I feel like everybody that noticed that it was, because they all noticed. They didn't just not notice the poster. They did, but they probably assumed, oh, management must have come down and put it up there. This man is painting penises on potholes, so the council has to take action. You know, I've always wondered how well this really works, because our neighborhood is messed up, and I would like for them to actually fix the damn roads at least one time. My roommate, when she talks to unvaccinated guys and convinces them to get the vaccine so they can go on a date and then proceeds to ghost them. Good. Suck it. I worked for a billing office and built programs to make it easier to keep track of clients, payments, and records. I was fired and told to finish out 2 weeks. In that time, I removed every program I'd created and put them back on their outdated original program. Good. They don't own your programs. You do. Suck it. They can just suck it. The last time we had a real live shutdown, one of the local college radio stations started playing the uncensored versions of all the songs they can't normally play since the FCC wasn't operating and couldn't find them. I feel like we should do that again, but on the big boy radio stations. Although, you know, at a certain point, they'll just start secretly keeping track anyway, rack up a bill, and then send it to everybody because that's how this all works. I practice hostile, pedestrianism. Driver speeds up and tries to beat me through the crosswalk. I start running, so they either have to stop or run me over. Driver edging into the crosswalk at a stoplight. I make direct eye contact and shout at them as I give them a thumbs down. I'm aware this will probably result in me getting shot or run over, but I don't care. Said it before and I'll say it again. Just because someone pisses you off or annoys you or anything like that does not mean you have the right to murder them. Just because you have a gun in your car does not mean that when you get mad, you get to pull it out and end someone's life. You are not that person. And if you think you are, you'll spend a lot of time in prison and you'll deserve it. I want bad drivers to be uncomfortable in their interactions with me and think about it for the rest of the day. I want bad drivers to tell their friends about some crazy guy who yelled at them in the middle of an intersection. I want bad drivers to be fearful of me, so they look for pedestrians while they drive. Really, I want to make driving less comfortable for those who have grown lazy. They're not even lazy, they're just pieces of shit. Time to paint me. Oh, there you go. Results. Thank you. Chaoticgood for sure. Hedge funds. GameStop can't open its doors because of the pandemic. Let's short more than 100% of its stock so the company dies and 15,000 people lose their jobs. Reddit. Screw you. Finance media. Oh my god, the Redditors are using foul language. God, do I wish we could keep doing that again and again and again. Screw hedge funds. Die. Just die. Update. Republicans started recruiting plaintiffs for a lawsuit to stop student debt relief. Our response? 130,000 false applications were sent in less than a day. Good work, everybody. Yep, keep it up. Absolutely keep it up. The world and our country are not able to continue operating under crippling, lifelong debt. It's not going to work. People are dying. This has to stop. I was terminated from my job, but still have their grocery supplier login. I worked in a commercial kitchen. This large company screwed me over and took advantage of me. I really wanted to add ridiculous, pointless items to their deliveries. Would this be illegal? I don't think the website tracks login locations. Well, if you have the login, you have the credentials to change the password, and even better, the delivery address. Change both, make the address to a homeless shelter, and order one big-ass delivery of non-perishables, canned goods, and anything that'll make their lives wonderful for a spell. You know, big companies, you know them as well as I do. They're not just gonna let them have it. Once they figure out what's going on, they're gonna find out where those deliveries were made, they're gonna have a bunch of douchebags show up and take it back. If you hate your HOA, nothing funnier than installing a 7,000 plus capacity bat roost causing thousands of bats to come into your neighborhood. They'll cause your HOA to complain, but they can't legally do anything about it because bats are federally protected animals and it cannot be removed. Knowing HOAs though, they should all die and burn in hell. They will find a way. They will absolutely figure out a way to get this taken down or, get you killed or something. HOAs do all sorts of nasty, disgusting shit. Good morning, evil bitches. How'd y'all fare in the night? Great. I sent an email to my landlord about our living conditions and CC'd his mom, dad, uncle, granddad, the CHA, City of Chicago, elected officials, and every multi-million-dollar company and foundation his family owns or heads. Good. Keep it that way. A French weightlifter named Charles, I won't ruin your last name, was jailed for hitting a guard, but broke out of the jail cell by bending the bars. He allowed the other prisoners to escape as well, as he then beat the guard who jailed him. One of the few people in history I think we can unironically say was built different. When contestants do cry out of frustration or disappointment generally, Mel and Sue stand near them and use unairable language, so the embarrassing footage is tainted and won't make it into the final edit. Using unwholesome language to keep your show wholesome. Aw, as well as swearing. They also use brand names. This must be the definition of chaotic good, honestly. It's also just being very, very clever. There's a vigilante in Rome, Italy that vandalizes cars that are parked on pavement or blocking disabled access. Good. Screw you. You know what you're doing. You know where you parked. Suck it, asshole. What's the craziest crime you or somebody in your family committed? It's not a bad crime or anything, but it was illegal at the time. So in Germany, up until a few years ago, we still had a general draft of the army, and a generation ago, it was very hard to get out of it. My uncle was a hardcore pacifist, so going to the army wasn't an option for him. But being accepted as a conscientious objector at the time basically required you to be a devout Christian and use the Bible as an argument for why you couldn't kill another human. And my uncle was also atheist, so he couldn't realistically object, didn't want to go to the army, and didn't want to go to jail too, so he waited. He got sent his first draft notice, passed the physical, and got a letter telling him to report to X company under Sergeant Y. He wrote back a reply on rose-colored paper scented with perfume about how much he was looking forward to serving under the strong leadership of Y, promising to obey every one of his orders, and that he can't wait to experience life in the barracks together with so many strong and muscular men. He was declared unfit for service shortly after. Yeah, that's great. That's super cool. Black men drinking water at a white-only fountain in 1964. Again, I've mentioned it before, but it's still crazy how this stuff was not happening very long ago, really at all. Our grandparents were there. Had a baby boomer in front of me at the Dairy Queen. She insisted she was the Blizzard expert, and there was simply not enough chocolate pieces in her Blizzard, and she wanted to complain to whoever was in charge. She's going on and on with this teenager. The teenager is calmly explaining they make them all the same, etc., but this woman's now yelling at them. So I walk past the woman and put money in the teen's tip jar. Haven't gotten ice cream yet. Woman looks at me and turns back and yells more and more with the teen. I put more money in there. The teen smiles at me. The woman can't think of what to say and stops yelling, because I'm looking at her dead in the eye with the ATM is over there, I can go all night. The more you yell at her, the more money she makes kind of look. Aggressive generosity to combat boomer selfishness is so punk. Also, we as a society need to come together and be a little bit more vocal about defending employees of stores like that. I'm sorry, the teenagers don't and aren't allowed to speak up because they kind of want to keep their job even if they don't like it, and most of them don't. Most people don't like their jobs, as a matter of fact, because they all suck and they get paid nothing for it. But we're not allowed to yell at people who are being horribly abusive smartasses who make threats and do whatever they want. We, as a society, like I said, need to band together, and whenever we see that happening, tell that person to shut the fuck up and leave. And maybe don't come back. They are not welcome anywhere. Man buys a hate group's domain and turns it into a gay furry site. The Wolves of Odin is an anti-Muslim hate group, but if you go to their Canadian website, you'll only see love. Be me, sister's having an extra rough day. Take my nephew to one of those jump parks just to give her a moment to breathe. He's enjoying himself and wants to play dodgeball with the other kids. The other kids are 12 to 14 while he's 7. Tell him I won't stop him from having fun, but expect no mercy from the older kids. He gets slaughtered, clearly upset. The other kids are clearly targeting him. His entire team is obliterated. Decide enough is enough. Walk into the court like big in a locker room. Be 25-year-old, 6'4" fat ass, whatever user adult. Can throw one of these balls with the speed of a meteor compared to the plebeian kids on the other team. Reenact that scene in Dodgeball where the loser gets really pissed off and murders the entire team solo. Jump up on the trampoline so high that when my full fat ass weight goes down into a throw, I knock kids down. They're flying into the sides of the trampolines after my gorilla throws. Nephew thinks it's the most badass crap ever. Our team wins. Take him out for ice cream after. I've not done much with my crappy life, but I'll never forget how happy my nephew was to tell my sister that I slam dunked other children. Miriam Rodriguez hunted down 10 of her 20-year-old daughter's kidnappers, stalking them one by one across Mexico until they were either dead or in prison. Much like Liam Neeson's character in the 2008 film, Taken, because you didn't f***ing say it, Miriam Rodriguez from Mexico used guns, fake IDs, and even disguises to hunt down the men who snatched and murdered her child. I hope she was completely and utterly successful. Walmart to close its doors on Black Friday. I'm starting a misinformation campaign to convince people that Walmart is closed on Black Friday. That way the people who work at Walmart will have a less stressful day. Join me in the fight to spread positive misinformation. Yeah, we gotta stop this whole Black Friday thing, because it's not even on the day anymore. It's like it's its own holiday now. Thanksgiving who? It's like October now coming out into stores in August, or Christmas beginning to sell decorations, like, I say Christmas like it's an entity that's doing it itself. You know, Christmas decorations pop out October 1st for some reason, which is complete bullshit, honestly. Knock it off, please. And Black Friday's basically the entire month now, so that's cool. I buried my boss's son scooter. Okay, my teacher wanted a story that's gonna shock him, so I wrote him a cute little story about a couple, Fletcher and Mia, falling in love. The last sentences of the story are, so what's your full name? I mean, what's Mia short for? Michael. Because my teacher's kinda homophobic, I'm gonna force him to enjoy a fluffy love story with no gender pronouns pronouns, and oh, what a shame, you liked a story about a gay couple. Sorry, man. I've been using Spotify to secretly spy on my friend. One of my closest friends names her Spotify playlist with specific names. One of her playlists is called Sad Lady Hours, and every time I see her actively listening to it, I shoot her a hopefully inconspicuous text asking what she's up to, that I love her, etc., etc. I hope she never notices the pattern. Purest thing I've ever heard. In the town where I grew up, there was a large statue in one of the parks of a famous historical white colonizer. I'm not going to say who specifically. Suffice it to say that it was someone who wasn't worth memorializing for their deeds. And as you can imagine, this statue was a frequent target of vandalism, with paint or toilet paper or eggs on multiple occasions. Now, the local council was generally pretty lax when it came to repairing potholes or other public damage in the town, but every time, 24 hours after this particular statue was hit, the same person would always appear in a high-vis vest, hat, mask, and sunglasses, carrying a bucket of water, and wash it clean. They would do it as quickly as possible, but always made sure the face and name carved at the bottom were generously scrubbed. This only encouraged people to do it again, and it became a vicious cycle. Within the year, the statue had sustained so much damage it was unrecognizable, and the lettering unreadable, so eventually, the council came and took it down. Also, apparently, the person in the high-vis vest didn't even work with them. They were supposedly just some good Samaritan who cleaned it, often before the council even discovered it needed cleaning. So they just let them do it and ignored the problem. They didn't bother putting the statue up again. Much later, we found out that the anonymous Samaritan had been deliberately washing the statue with a bucket of salt water, which had dramatically corroded it, causing irreversible accumulative damage far worse than spray paint ever would have done. It's even theorized that they were also often the ones spray painting it, just so they had an excuse to come back after a day to wash it. A good Samaritan indeed. Ohio has stopped kicking workers off unemployment after a hacker targeted the state website used by employers to report employees who refused to report for work. The hacker submitted huge volumes of junk data, making it impossible to investigate workers. Hey, Commonwealth Bank, how about you service your freaking ATMs in Bunbury so punters like me will not have to tape fish to them, so you'll have no choice but to come and fix them. I have more fish, tape, and willpower than your entire organization. Fix them now. I've just taken my son's phone. How do I access his history? It's impossible. Oh, thanks. So I got a friend who was protesting. They got arrested and then they called their job from jail to tell them that they were in jail and weren't going to make it to work. Why did their job bail them out and make them come to work? I genuinely couldn't tell you anything about that one, pal. I got absolutely nothing for you. My ex-girlfriend had a few too many shots of tequila in a party and passed out on the couch. When I went to check on her, I noticed she pissed all over the place. To avoid embarrassment, I filled up a bucket with water and threw it over her to disguise it as a prank. I'm that kind of boyfriend. She still has no idea. Now that's chaotic good. Chaotic evil, however, would be pissing all over her to disguise the fact that she pissed herself. I don't know. Would that truly disguise it? Because I'm not 100% sure or convinced of really anything anymore. Adding 400 years of increased school funding by editing the budget with your veto powers. Alright, in Wisconsin, governors have a partial veto power, allowing them to strike out but not add individual words and phrases in a bill that's already passed the state legislature. On Wednesday, July 5th, Democratic Governor Tony Evers used this power to edit the language of the new state budget, passed by Republican-controlled state legislature, to extend the original budget's $325 per student school funding increase from 2 years to 402 years. Here's the original language of that section. For the limit for the 2023 to 2024 school year and the 2024 to 2025 school year, add $325 to the result under par. Evers used his partial veto power to strike out the text bolded below and got perfectly legally the following result. For the limit for 2023 through 24-25, add $325 to the result under par. Money forever. The Gulabi gang is a gang of women in India who track down and beat abusive husbands with brooms. This is too thug not to reblog. Can we give them something a little heavier? Maybe bats? Maybe we'll just give them full-on vacuum cleaners and they can beat the shit out of these guys that way. Graffiti in my hometown. Motor vehicles. No motor vehicles? Yes motor vehicles? What exactly is going on here? Church annoyed after $20 donation turned out to be lecture on evolution. The First Church of the Trinity Blessed was appalled because an atheist has infiltrated the sanctity of the church and left a fake donation after the services. Aw, kind of like so many of your flock like to do when they're out at IHOP or something, because, you know, a lot of people go to IHOP after church. I don't know why that feels weird, but I don't know. You couldn't mind your own goddamn business, so why are you pissy now? Oh, poor baby.
A chaotic good vandalism.
Goody.
Being nice is so easy. Just do it. Oh, it really is. But that is the unfortunate thing. It is also so easy to not be nice. As much as I'd wish it was true, it's far more true that being mean and being nice are on a very equal scale of effort. Australia's national saying is a clear example of this. Depending on who hears it, I'm being nice or I'm being rude. This shelter cat was put into solitary confinement for helping other cats escape. You crafty little devil, you.
Hey, come on, we just wanted a trip to the fish market. Hey, I'm not saying anything until I speak to my meower. It's a lawyer joke. You're laughing.
French environmentalists targeted sites near Toulouse, calling golf the leisure industry of the most privileged. Now, at first I felt inclined to point out that golf isn't only for rich people, it's just that rich people more commonly play it because it's a much more leisurely, easily game and sport. It's like archery and bowls mixed into one. But then I read the headline at the bottom. Climate activists fill golf holes with cement after water ban exemption. And with that in mind, fill more. You go, activists. Seriously, why don't they just convert the grass to fake grass? Sure, they'd have to re-turf the entire course over time, but I'm sure it would save you a lot of money. Now, cue someone in the comments making one simple basic point that points out how stupid my idea is. Jesse James, an outlaw, once gave a widow who housed him enough money to pay off her debt collector and then robbed the debt collector as the man left the widow's home. I hold your oath fulfilled. How I wished the internet was around back in those days. You know how many stories like this could have just been gone from history and we'd never know? Chicago man arrested after repeatedly stealing guns off of officers using a toy dino grabber. At that point, you don't arrest the guy. You pay him for his services, pointing out the gaps and flaws in your system. It's like how banks and security companies put bounties on any hackers who are able to successfully get through their system. You don't punish people for doing it, you reward them. So go on, police, reward this person. So yeah, placing bounties where people attempt to disarm police officers, I see no flaws in that. Controversial opinion, but I don't think people should go to jail for objectively funny crimes. Exactly. So if you can make the police officer laugh while you're assaulting them, it's fine. Was I asphyxiating them with laughing gas? That's irrelevant, Your Honor. A Florida man accidentally locked his 1-year-old daughter in his car, and 5 prisoners out on work detail used a coat hanger to break her out. The mother, who took a video of it, said, "Them prisoners bust that Schmidt right open, so thank God for the criminals in this world." You are a bad guy. But this does not mean you are a bad guy. Today I learned when the head of the Pirate Bay, Peter Sund, was arrested, he asked to phone his girlfriend so she could lock the doors of his house before going with the policeman. The policeman said yes. Instead, he pushed a button on an app that immediately encrypted all servers of the Pirate Bay. Oh, if I was that officer, I don't think I'd ever recover from this. Hey, necromancer! You're under arrest! You can't be raising the dead anymore!
Oh no, can I at least just take a book with me to read while you're processing the charges?
That checks out. Go ahead, pick your favorite book. Legend. Leg End. The Pirate Bay team are easily some of my favorite people on the planet. Oh yeah, that trial was hilarious. Neither the prosecutor nor the judges had any idea how anything of the Pirate Bay worked. Like, they didn't even understand they never had any offices. I could imagine having an advanced understanding of computer technology back in the early 2000s. You were basically a god of the modern world. Governor Greg Abbott failed to secure governorgregabbott.com, so now I own the domain and I've created this new website. Enjoy! This is the true reason we have elections. Not because we want to find out who's best to run the country. No. It's purely so that we can parade someone around and throw pies at them, metaphorically. That's the true political career. Volunteering/competing with others to be absolutely shamed, exposed, and laughed at and hated upon by almost the entire population, and the reward is a possibility of having power over all those people who wronged you. Not gonna lie, genuinely sounds like the next reality show Netflix is gonna try and push. Oopsie, something's wrong with this door. Have fun ignoring the repair now. I get that there are like certain avenues you can go to as a tenant when things aren't addressed, but sometimes Sometimes this is genuinely the only way. Because I mean, like what? Oh, how dare a tenant let you know that this property you own and are investing in is falling apart and needs to be, kept in good condition so you can sell it for a good price in the future. Don't get me wrong, if you as a tenant never clean the oven, you're an a-hole and you deserve to be kicked out. But I'm speaking for people who actually are trying to be good tenants. My dad used to live in a really bad area growing up, surrounded by a lot of gangs, and he told me that there was this kind, openly gay boy that used to tutor all these gang leaders for free. And one day, a homophobe insulted him and 5 gangs found out and went to go beat him up. One very important thing I feel like many people don't realize when it comes to gang activity and gang leaders of sorts, for many, it's their only opportunity for some sense of stability and control in their lives. It's not surprising that the places that successfully get rid of gang activity are places that actually give young adults opportunities. In 2018, a Russian hacker broke into 100,000 people's routers, but with good intentions. See, he didn't do any fraud, but only changed their settings so that they don't get hacked in the future by others. Professionals have standards. This gives me the same energy as that guy on TikTok who literally goes up to random people's houses to be like, hey, can I mow your lawn for my TikTok for free? And the homeowners are just astounded. You can tell they've had no time or just completely given up on their house because of how much the lawn looks. And this dude's just wholesomely mowing the lawn. Say what you want about TikTok, but it does bring a bit of the community together in a way too. It also makes people realize they have a weird fetish for mowed lawns now, but that's not important. Let's move on. All-time move from Liquid Death just dropped. Company releases iced tea / lemonade drink named Armless Palmer. Arnold Palmer's estate threatens to sue Liquid Death over the name. Liquid Death rebrands the drink to Dead Millionaire. Literally even putting it in their advertising. If you like our Armless Palmer tea lemonade, then you're going to love our new Dead Billionaire lemonade. Why? Because it's the exact same thing, only now it has a way cooler name that won't require us to fight a senseless legal battle with a large enterprise who sent us a letter saying we can use the word Palmer, and who are also partnered with a giant iced tea corporation. So it wasn't about moral standards, it was just about competition. Both of whom have far more money to burn on legal fees than we do. Our new Dead Billionaire icons have started to trickle out on Amazon and will begin hitting retail shelves this spring. Oh, I love this. Experts are predicting potential brawls in retailers as customers fight over remaining Armless Palmer cans before they become extinct forever and reselling as collector's items for billions. I sincerely doubt that, but I do love your confidence. Yeah, it must be hard being the little dog in the fight when you're only valued at 700 million. God. Arizona iced tea is valued at around $3 billion. Yeah, wow, I thought you were being snarky about a company worth $700 million being the little guy, and then you mentioned the other being over quadruple that. What the frick? Okay, but like, at some point, there has to be a threshold towards the quality of lawyer you can get, right? Or do lawyers just like constantly inflate themselves the moment they find out someone else out there has like got a net worth of $5 billion? They're like, oh, I gotta raise my costs by an extra $1 million to meet with, possible demand. Don't let the world fool you. Consistent kindness is the most quietly powerful thing. Okay, this totally sounds like a Disney villain monologue.
If you ever want to engage in villainy and undermine the social order, be especially kind to the people society has rejected. Care about the ones the world would convince you don't deserve your kindness. I genuinely mean this when I sing to you. The ultimate act of rebellion is insisting on compassion and grace in a compassionless world.
Cool. Disruptive compassion. Got it. Yeah, reblogging because I have a lot of feelings about this and because I believe very strongly in that the most punk rock and badass thing you can ever do is live your life with aggressive empathy and kindness. Here's your Christmas present. Yeah, I know you said I didn't need to get you anything, but I don't care what you think. I don't mind straight people, as long as they act gay in public. Well, joke's on you, I'm mistaken for gay all the time. Ha ha ha, it made me really insecure in high school. I'm straight, but I act gay in public because to Southerners, there is nothing more terrifying than a 6'5", 380-pound ex-SEC football player covered in tattoos with a righteous beard who is quite flamboyant. I want to see the distraught look on their faces. I would pay to see that.
Oh my God! Is that person doing something that has no effect on my life?
Homophobes like this fascinate me. It's like poking your eyeball at the mount of an anthill that's next to the road and being like, "Get off the road! I can't get past ya!" I paid for this ad spot because I hate ads. Enjoy this pic of a cute turtle instead. Peace. And they no doubt got far more shares than any company ad would ever get. In ad companies' defense, that is a very cute pic. It was probably because of this guy that a lot of ad companies realized they should just share memes instead of, because, it's a shocking revelation. Turns out people are more likely to share memes or images they like than, ads. Burglar gently waking me.
Hey, you live like this?
Oh my gosh, so I heard this story secondhand many years ago, but the gist was that a friend of a friend lived in what was generally considered a bad neighborhood because he was a super poor college student and it was what he could afford. Now, he didn't have any furniture. He just slept on a blanket on the floor and had a milk crate for a chair and like an old wire spool as a table. No TV, nothing in the fridge, no microwave, basically just bare walls and a roof to keep the weather off. So one day, he comes home and there's a man in his apartment just standing there with this look of utter amazement and horror on his face. And he turns to the guy who just entered and says,
This your place? Cause I broke in to rob you, but hell, man, you ain't got nothing. Wait here, I'm gonna be right back.
And the burglar left, leaving a puzzled college student alone in his empty apartment. But sure enough, the burglar came back a while later and brought some friends, and they delivered a table, a couple of chairs, and a small TV.
I think I got you a bed too, but that might take a couple of days.
So, the poor college student made some friends, and he didn't ask where they got the stuff. Okay, I do not doubt for a second this is probably a very elaborated or fake story, but who cares, I believe there are some sort of degree of Robin Hoods out there like this. Store employee doesn't like musk. The stench or the person? Sorry, I forget that they're the same thing.
25% off. 25% off. 25% off.
Clown.
25% off.
Since the Bible says not to charge interest on loans, I think the Dems should propose a bill that removes all interest on student loans and use this as justification. Make the GOP state out loud, repeatedly, that the Bible can't be used to make policy. I do love the incentive. I am far more afraid of them doubling down on this, though. Because if they do approve of this, you've basically given them the green light to push through anything they themselves want to use the Bible as justification for. Because, hey, we permitted it with the interest rates, they can permit it with everything else now. I deleted and reinstalled my Parler app, and it's back up. For those who might have forgotten, Parler launched as a free speech alternative to Twitter, a wholesome Garden of Eden for conservatives who wanted to complain about minorities.
Thanks for the wrong info. I deleted my app and there isn't a new one, and now mine is gone. Remove this post as its information is wrong.
Ah, now you care about the correct information. Feels rather annoying, doesn't it, when someone spreads misinformation? I knew a guy who sold weed in high school and college. One time, he made pot brownies to sell. In the process, he discovered a love for baking. Dude's a pastry chef now, wears cute aprons, and they say drugs lead you to ruin. It led to this man's aspiring career. In an unforgiving environment with barely decent pay rates and fairly unappreciative clients who think they could make it themselves if they really tried. I share this omen as someone who knows someone who worked in this industry. Since we're all talking about leaving Twitter again, can I bring back the idea of migrating to LinkedIn en masse and just totally destroying the professional vibe over there? Come on, people, if we can destroy the stock exchange through GameStop, I'm sure we can do this. I believe in the power of mutual... what's the word? Disdain? Ruining something overtly rich people make too big of a deal out of. Meanwhile, in the I'm White and I'm Proud of It public group on Facebook. Hi, I'm Justin, one of 57 members. I've collected enough racist stuff here for the group I'm in that outs racists. It is currently being forwarded to your employers. I even noticed some active military, which is extremely disappointing as a vet myself. Those are being forwarded to your commands and expect your discharges to be forthcoming. I hope you all have fun waiting in the unemployment line. Oh, now, you can't be upset. After all, you're proud of it. Oh, what a shame that some of those profile photos show them with kids. The fact that we only have Herculean task and Sisyphean task feels so limiting. So here's a few more tasks for your repertoire. Icarian task. When you have a task you know you're going to fail at anyways, so why not have some fun with it before it all comes crashing down? So essentially anyone born after the year 2000 not in a high-income family bracket trying to make their way through capitalism. I'm not nihilistic, no! Cassandrian task. When you have to deal with people you know won't listen to you despite having accurate information and having to watch them fumble about when you told them the solution from the start, most often witnessed in customer service or as a woman in a misogynist workplace. Feel free to chime in. I ran out of ideas much faster than I anticipated. I'm gonna need the smart pants in the comment section to explain to me what the references here are of Icarian and Cassandrian and Herculean. I feel like it's got something to do with the Greeks, but yep, that's all it goes to in my brain. That's as far as I can reach. The more random people you see jogging for no reason, the higher the rent is going up. I hate how this is actually kind of accurate. This is why you should always support your local gang. They help keep property prices down. I heard a gunshot coming from my neighbor's yard late at night a few weeks after I moved in. I went to check it out. When I approached him, he told me he does it once every month or so just to keep the property value and taxes at a reasonable level. I'm used to it now. I hate when people say, "Eat the rich!" Like, grow up. Jeff Bezos is gonna feed, what, 20 people? Maybe 30? We'd be better suited using the rich to fertilize high-yield crops like potatoes or cucumbers. In this presentation, I will explain an agricultural model based on the... Oh wow, that's a long presentation. But I'm not doing anything! This is bullshit! That's loitering. If you'd like to contest your ticket, you can go to the...
Hey, officer, is this your car?
Yes.
I'm gonna flip it over.
Hey,
better stop me.
Hey, what the f***? You're supposed to be on our side!
You do know what the word vigilante means, right?
Pretty Boy Floyd was an American bank robber who often destroyed mortgage documents while robbing banks, freeing many citizens of their debts. Though Floyd was involved in numerous murders and robberies, he had a positive public image and was known as the Robin Hood of the Cookson Hills. Also, Twitter is blowing who now? In 1994, the KKK applied to sponsor a section of the I-55 highway near St. Louis, Missouri, and the Supreme Court ruled the state could not refuse the sponsorship. So, the state of Missouri decided to rename the entire stretch of highway the Rosa Parks Freeway.
Oopsie, you supported something that's against your own cause.
So I live next door to a couple, a very conservative couple, and their twin boys. The boys can't be more than 8, and like most kids, they like to play in the backyard, which is totally fine. Doesn't bother me at all. They're kids and like to run around. What bothers me though is that they love to throw their toys over into my yard. A lot of toys. Action figures, balls, frisbees, rackets, etc. Now them throwing them over don't really bother me that much. What bothers me is that the parents keep demanding that we have to throw them back. They don't ask, they don't knock on the door and apologize. They just yell over their fence when they know that we are outside and tell us to give it back. And that bothers me. They also seem to encourage their kids to throw it over to our yard. So, after Christmas, I was at the store and saw that they had a ton of Barbies, nail polish, Bratz doll frisbees, and balls on the clearance. I bought 5 of everything I could find that I knew my neighbors would hate seeing their sons play with. Every time an action figure gets thrown over to my yard, I will throw a Barbie back with it. Every time a ball gets thrown, a Bratz ball will be returned. I already threw a couple nail polishes over and the twins went crazy. They loved it. They've had pink, purple, and green nails all week. It's been 2 days and not a single action figure has crossed my fence. More importantly, not a single rude demand from the parents to return them. The kids are having fun and I have petty revenge. Oh, editor, could you just wipe away the R that's in the second last word there? Okay, great. I just gotta get my Sniper Wolf impression on.
Aw, hell nah. Petty revenge, more like pretty revenge. And I bet those parents are feeling pretty stupid.
This came out of my dad's printer at work today.
Hi! If you're reading this message, it's highly likely that your printer is exposed to the public internet via port forwarding. Woo! This means that anyone on the internet with some technical knowledge can send print jobs to your printer. Or worse, try to exploit it and use it as a part of a global botnet. If you didn't intend for this, please look into disabling Universal Plug and Play on your router or remove the port forwarding rule for the port 9100. Signed, a friendly cat girl hacker. Ooh.
K-Star News. Lesbian escapes Russia by boat and sails to Canada to be with the woman she loves. Frickin' hell yeah, man. Sure, we don't live in that timeline where there's only one of that dealer who will literally cut you off if he thinks your life's getting too better. But in this timeline, Russia did sell Alaska to America, so at least we do have that. And okay, I got curious just to fact check that in case I was getting that slightly wrong. And no, I was right, but just all the nuance around it is fascinating. Googling, did Russia sell Alaska to America? America, back in 1867, paid Russia $7.2 million, which, I mean, that back then, insane. But to those uneducated as to why Alaska is American and, like, Canada didn't own Alaska or buy it at all, well, it turns out Canada didn't exist as a country back then. It was all still basically Britain, and Russia did not want to sell it to Britain. Essentially, the only reason Alaska is not part of Canada is because Russia was just like, screw you, Britain. I'm giving this to your ex. We're best friends now, and we'll never hate each other ever. After the description of your dad's genitalia, the first black female postmaster was pressured out of her post in Mississippi. The President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punish the town by rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. Okay, I do feel kind of bad and wrong for using their name in that inappropriate joke, but at the same time, I was stating a fact. Anti-LGBTQ street preacher drowned out with saxophones on New York Street. Yeah, that's why I'm allowed to play my saxophone loud into the night. I'm not being noisy and disruptive to my neighbors. I'm practicing the power to silence hate speech. I'm doing a good thing. You're the bad, rude person who's ruining everything for everyone by not letting me annoy you and make you struggle to sleep. Yes. Billy Joe Armstrong is like the definition of chaotic good. A prime example of this is the fact that one time at a Green Day concert, this guy in the pit was harassing a young girl, so Billy stopped the show to help her. However, his way of doing so was to jump into the audience, drop kick the guy directly in the face, and then fight him in a crowd of screaming fans. This is missing the best part. When he saw the guy, he tried to be like, dude, stop, and when the man didn't stop pushing the girl around, he screamed, fine, you wanna fight? I'll frickin' fight you then! And leapt directly into the crowd. There's a reason Green Day was my favorite band in high school, and Billy Joe Armstrong is it. I am absolutely all for Green Day. Green Day the musical, however... Do not waste your time! Oh my god, is it bad? Hey, moody teenager number 73. Good song about how you're feeling. Hey, did someone say it's September now? Summer has come and what, just saying September is triggered you into a song now? Okay, alright. Yeah, that makes sense. I remember an article during the first wave of the pandemic of a teenager in the US making a fortune and being called a young businessman. Essentially, he was scalping anything that was popular while everyone was locked in, including video game consoles. Frick off. Oh yeah, I bought 6 PS5s from one guy on eBay when it first launched. He was selling them for $2,000 a piece. I had no intention of paying, but kept indicating I'd pay so that eBay didn't cancel the transaction. It postponed him selling them for about a month, and he had to drop the price to around $1,200 each, essentially losing him $4,800 profit. Say what you will about my morality, but I don't give a schmidt. I hate scalpers. He was so angry he somehow found my personal info and threatened my family. What a piece of work. When I called his bluff, he said he'd call the hospital I worked at and tell them. I said, you want to call the ICU I work at during a pandemic and tell them one of their nurses is screwing with you on eBay and you think they'll give 2 schmitts? I'll give you the number personally. I've also trolled about 10 Switch scalpers on Facebook Marketplace and had them meet each other to sell instead of me. See? Sometimes trolling is good for society. I'm sending nudes to every person who donates at least $10 to any one of these fundraisers for the wildfires in Australia. Every $10 you donate equals 1 nude picture from me to your DM. You must send me confirmation that you donated. Please retweet. The good old days in early 2020. This chick raised over $10K for Australia in less than a day by sending nudes. Some heroes don't wear capes. They don't wear anything. Next time y'all want to shame sex workers, I'm gonna ask how much you've raised for charity. What a memorable moment in history. Someone flashing some bobs and verillon was far more steadfast and, I guess, proactive than our own Prime Minister. Please remember that when Doom Guy was ordered to fire on unarmed civilians, he punched his commanding officer, and that's why he was sent to Mars. Be like Doom Guy. I am deliberately stealing a design by Disney in a way that is unlicensed.
Oh, suck my stinky mouse tongue, Disney!
This is copyright infringement, not parody. I want to get sued by Disney Corporation. As beautiful as this is, I'm sure you want some context, so here you go, open wide, here comes the airplane. Twitter is plagued by art thief bots. Any image that has multiple comments along the line of, I want this on a t-shirt, will be automatically uploaded and sold without the artist's knowledge. So, artists started making images full of blatant copyrighted images like the one above, and asking people to spam comment, I want this on a t-shirt, then report the site to Disney. A few of these t-shirt bot sites have actually been taken down this way, the truest killer of automation. Ingenuity. Police have arrested a Minnesota man who checked his sick wife out of a nursing home to throw her a death party. Her final hours included meth, listening to metal, and having intimacy, authorities said. I fail to see the problem here. Dude gave her more fun and excitement than her nursing home could ever give. India is saving endangered rhinos with one simple trick. Poachers hate them. Kazaranga's ruthless rangers have reduced rhino poaching by simply gunning down poachers at sight. Yeah, who knew that these guns actually work on humans too, not just predators. Wow. Despite what the Bible says about stealing, a Church of England priest suggested Saturday it was no sin to shoplift as long as the victim is a big supermarket. Jesus said, love your neighbor. He didn't say love Mark and Spencer's. The Rev.
Okay, fine. The Brits can take this one W for once.
Father Jones explained that his advice does not contradict the Bible's 8th commandment because God's love for the poor and despised outweighs the property rights of the rich. Damn, what? Mate, I think you're converting me. The first year I got Twitter, someone tweeted, cops all have tiny peepees. And we watched as a cop got so mad, he tweeted his peepee and was suspended from Twitter and being a cop. I haven't left since. If that's your first trial experience, I don't blame you. This machine will charge you $1.99 for cash withdrawals. Well, time to destroy this business strategy with the power of a Sharpie. I love that they give the time distance as well. Beautiful touch. Stealing a person's dog so it can actually live. Oh, man. That's just... I'm happy for you. Thank you. Looks so peaceful and junky.
That's not stealing, it's rescuing. I mean, it's both.
Benevolent thieving.
I'm a long-haired native who doesn't steal, so whenever I get followed in a store, I keep the employee on my tail for as long as possible to make it a little easier for people who need to steal to get what they need.
Work isn't supposed to be fun. Medicine is supposed to taste bad. Life is supposed to be hard.
Like, why? Says who? We operate under this false notion that everything is supposed to suck when it doesn't have to. That's the whole point of advancement, to make stuff suck less. Okay, look, I'm fully on board with this, but you tell me how else to persuade a damn child to have their medicine. They don't care it's good for them. They just want it to taste good. I say this as someone who sulked all the time when he had to have cough medicine, and now I don't mind it at all, which I feel like should be a problem considering it's more of an alcoholic taste when you think about it. School board member sworn in on pile of banned books to troll Mums for Liberty. Oh, so a Bible then. Apparently my kid got in trouble today for packing our toaster in his backpack and pulling it out at lunch to make Pop-Tarts for his class. I can't stop laughing. Please help, my muscles have cramped out of pain from so much laughter. This is no longer a funny experience. My stomach muscles have cramped. This man stole a car, and upon realizing that there was a baby inside, he returned the baby, scolded the parents for leaving the car unattended with the baby inside, and proceeded to steal the car again. Listen, I'll take your financial responsibility that it is this car, but I'm not going to take your financial responsibility that is this baby. Unpopular opinion. I don't think your life has to have a purpose, or you a grand ambition. I think it's okay to just wander through life finding interesting things until you die. But then how does
capitalism win? I just finished beating someone up and I hate myself for it, but he kicked my cat. I just had a roommate coming to my house drunk and trying to start a fight with me, and when I didn't reciprocate, he kicked my 6-week-old kitten. I proceeded to beat his ass for 30 minutes. I feel very ashamed, but I love my cat. It was multiple beatings in a 30-minute time frame. Look, you had everyone on your side the moment you said 6 week. Sorry, no, let's be more real. The moment you said cat. 15 years ago, 5 friends and I drunkenly painted a crosswalk on a dangerous street in our college town. Shockingly, people actually used it, and the city installed a legitimate crosswalk there soon after. Now it's in a national publication. Ooh, the automotive industry isn't going to appreciate that. You encouraging more walking access in public infrastructure? Streets should be for cars only. Just look at all those cities in Europe that avoid using cars too much in their inner city areas. They're miserable. They look disgusting.
I email my dentist twice a day. At it again. I do a lot of illegal crap, but littering is where I draw the line. Yeah, there's the axis of legality, and then you have another axis on the same graph of being a jerk. Baby formula is 19 pounds, and that's not a lot of formula. Like, I don't know if that's the powder or the liquid. This stuff comes in like a bunch of different variants, and some of it is just like appallingly sad. If I see a mother stealing formula, I'm gonna create a distraction. Yeah, even out here in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, it's in a glass case now. Like, it's just, you have to go get an associate. This lady at Jamba Juice just cut me in line, and the worker saw us, so when it was my time to order, he goes, "Congrats! You were the 18th customer today. You get a free drink of choice." Oh my fracking god, her face. Good job, employee. That's the only way to deal with this kind of crap. Make them really regret like the entire sequence of events that they did, so that maybe they will do it in the future. Omaha man paints his house in rainbow colors after neighbors said derogatory words to him about gay man that didn't sit well. I love the house. I love the setting. We gotta talk about grammar and like structuring your sentences, because it sounds like a gay man couldn't sit down right. This is the only way to respond to this kind of crap. This is why Pride is so loud. Not everybody who wears Pride colors is just like, yeah, no, me. They're like, hey, I'm wearing it for the people that still get hated on for no darn reason, because other people are arrogant enough to think that they have a say over other people's lives. Bus drivers in Japan went on strike, I heard about this, by continuing to drive the route while refusing to take fares from passengers, keeping Japan on time, but costing the bus companies. Yeah, I saw this before. Absolutely love it. I wish that's how more strikes works. It's just like, no, we'll keep doing our jobs, but you won't make any money. Man gets cancer on cancerous growth, killing the growth and ending his cancer. Task failed successfully. Kind of terrifying to get another form of cancer that's like worse than the first one, enough to kill it. My mom has a friend who has a failed program service dog, and he's literally my favorite creature. He's a really smart lab. He learned all the commands, but he just has an affinity for doing them whenever he wants. So this lady's dog literally turns on and off lights, opens doors, opens the fridge, etc., all at his own wishes. Her home looks like it's baby-proofed, with kid-safe locks on everything and stuff, but really she just has a dog that's learned all of the mobility service dog commands, but has a mind of his own. I'm being helpful, right? Would you like this cupboard opened? What about this light on? Am I being helpful? Client did not pay? Add opacity to the body tag and decrease it every day until their sight completely fades away. 15 years ago, 5 friends and I drunkenly painted a crosswalk on a dangerous street in our college town. Shockingly, people actually used it, and the city installed a legitimate crosswalk there soon after. Now it's in a national publication. The keys for guerrilla crosswalks. Somebody who has to bike everywhere, I fully support this. Neighbor kept letting his dog crap in my yard. Not cool, clean it up, please. That's very nice and wholesome. Sorry, swept through the yard, just in case. We are leashing our dogs to prevent this. Aw, also got you a new pencil. Thanks for your patience. Aw. Oh my god, it's like an actual good neighbors interaction. Coming from Florida with HOAs and stuff, like this is fantastic. Nobody got fined. No old guy thought he owned your property. This is great. Never forget that Ford was 100% ready to fracking shoot a man just so Mabel could keep her pet pig. I love Gravity Falls so much. I don't know who needs to hear this, but photo enforcement cameras hold 5.5 pounds of copper. I also strongly advise against aiming a laser at them or any kind of construction foam or foaming wasp spray. All of these are very bad things. You should leave those cameras alone. 5.5 pounds of copper is about 20 bucks. Spot price, but hey, one person's treasure, another person's copper. The artist holding valuable art hostage to protect Julian, I can't say that his last name. Using a 32-ton Swiss bank safe, Andrei Moloudkin says he will destroy works by Picasso, Rembrandt, Warhol if the WikiLeaks founder dies in prison. Yes, good, excellent. I had to go and actually look this up again because I'd kind of forgotten what had happened. In general, the best way to not have embarrassing leaks come out about you is to not do shady stuff. Pro tip. Conservation group buys out hunting rights in BC's Great Bear Rainforest to protect wildlife. The tenure covers a quarter of the Great Bear Rainforest. That's fantastic. Yeah, we have a lot of hunting here, but it's not bear, to my knowledge. It's like deer, because if we didn't, oh my god, this place would be overrun. Anonymous love note on my neighbor's mat this morning. Dear neighbor, I want drop this the morning. It's a hard time being over. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing that way. But basically, they're just gonna bring their neighbor's crap over to them or leave it on your car. You're welcome. Sincerely, someone who was raised right. Oh, I like that last line. That's fantastic. Reporter wears grape costume to defend boy suspended for banana suit. Real recognizes real. I remember reading this years ago. I want a reprisal of this. Most of our clothes are too boring nowadays. We need more great costumes and banana suits. Kropotkin? He wrote some books about being chaotically good. Red Bread Redemption. How did he get published with the Rockstar logo and everything? The Conquest of Bread. Penny auction. Foreclosure. The term arose during the foreclosure of farms during the Great Depression in the United States. Neighbors would gather in large numbers at the auction and place bids placed birds of only a few pennies while intimidating anyone who attempted to bid competitively. In the end, the bank that owned the farm would get whatever was bid, and the neighbors would return the farm and its contents to the farmer. No, you just can't buy back your farm for only a few pennies? Someone else place a bid. 50 cents for my farm back. Silence. Armed society, polite society. This is my dad when he married my mom. I asked him, why were you dressed like this to the wedding? And he said, your mom invited me to the wedding, but she didn't tell me who. I got nothing. Chaotic good doesn't mean chaotic nice. Far too true. How do I watch in Australia? Al Yankovic, one of my heroes. Roka's working on it. In the meantime, there's VPN, very probably no way to watch it legally. I'm sure you have a torrent of other questions, but I have to move along. Sorry, I love Rudell so much. Reject your homeowners association. Grow corn on your front lawn. I mean, there's corn 2 minutes that way. I'm pointing. We did not buy a homeowners association, and I'm still shocked that they are at all legal. If you want my private property to look a specific way, you best be paying for it. Because if I have to pay to stay here, to own this property, I'm gonna make it look however I want. There's literally no law that says you can't put your friends down as your references and pretend they were your boss at an old job. Literally, there's no law that says that. This is true. I wouldn't recommend doing it for anything more than a very entry-level job, because for an entry-level job, they should just be making sure that you're not gonna steal a bunch of stuff and set the place on fire. This probably isn't gonna go too well at more advanced jobs, like ones with technicals. That won't go well. Best way to deal with a scammer. I was teaching a classroom of middle schoolers, 6th grade, and I got a scam call. So I told my class to scream into the microphone all at once. The loudest high-pitched scream emitted by a middle school echoed throughout the school, which made it louder and more unbearable. He hung up, probably traumatized for life. I've also seen another one that's really good that doesn't require an entire freaking coordinated thing. Is just throw it under a pot. Just hello, make sure it's a scammer. Throw it under a pot and just start beating the crap out of the pot. And it will just cook the phone in sound. I curse thee, warrior. Everyone you date
will find their soulmate 3 months after you break up.
So, what kind of relationship are you looking for? A short one. I'm going to make so many people happy. Aww. Oh my, this is actually something I would do. This is totally something I would do. Yes, and just like, okay, fine, screw you. I'm gonna repurpose this and get so many people their soulmates so much quicker. I'm going to warp fate with the powers you have given me. Making a hidden shrine for Mike Wazowski and hiding it in a public library for people to find. Oh my god, that's amazing. I feel like hiding things in public libraries would just be like a fun variant of geocaching. This is like fantastic. This is way beyond the level I was imagining. But I mean, if you want to make the cathedral to Wazowski, like, I'm not gonna stop you. India is saving endangered rhinos with one simple trick. Poachers hate them. Kaziranga's ruthless rangers have reduced rhino poaching by simply gunning down poachers on site. An armed society is a police. We tried all these things to stop the poachers and nothing's working. What if we just shot the poachers? Oh my god, you're right. This is something out of Florida. Asking to get pulled over. Motherfrackers stole my plate. Called 911. They wouldn't send anyone out. Went to buy. They need an officer to sign paper. Please pull me over. So they've created a situation. Sorry, that was so poorly read. There was just handwriting in sideways, like at an angle. So they created a situation where somebody stole your plate. 911 wouldn't help you. You couldn't get an officer to escort you to the DMV and sign off on it. That's infuriating. Again, like, the license plate is for, you know, everyone else. It's not for you. The car does not require a license plate to go. This dude's doing his best to, like, comply with the laws. My teacher counts the silly answer as correct. Changing ride height will affect wheel alignment. I agree. I disagree. So will hitting a curb at 100 miles an hour. HR at my work just called me, and I thought I was in trouble for something, but they just let me know my 11-year-old sister has been commenting on their Instagram every day, telling them to give me a raise. Oh, that's wholesome. That's really sweet. Passive-aggressive gardening. Neighbor and I don't get along. He's a very unhappy person, so to brighten up both of our lives, I planted wild roses on our property border. Every time I hear him curse about shoots popping up everywhere, I smile inside. Catnip is also a good idea. It's a pretty plant and will, of course, attract some friends from the neighborhood. There's also some sort of ground cover thing that, like, spreads incredibly quickly. When I was in 4th grade, I was in the gifted program. Hell yeah. And they let us go to the library more often. What? Which meant we had more chances to take the accelerated reader tests and get points, and whoever reached a certain threshold got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. So I goed around asking people I knew had a hard time reading what their logins were and sneak in to take tests for them so they could go to Chuck E. Cheese too. Aw, I got caught and they didn't let me go to Chuck E. Cheese, but it was worth it. Frack you. That's something, that's also something I probably would have done. You are now entering a stress-free zone.
Enforced by Sniper.
Hey, do you feel stressed? Do you?
I sure hope not.
Snow work and all play. Retirement home nurses host indoor snowball fight. That's absolutely wonderful. The late December snowball fight activity was just one of many ways the Luverne facility keeps its residents physically active without the intimidation or boredom that can come with traditional workouts. Marissa Nelson, activity director at Luverne, said the main goal was to get residents moving. Oh, I love that so much. That's fantastic. This woman just farted so loud in the bathroom, I could just feel she was embarrassed, so I farted back just to make her not feel so alone. Social media has some great gems of holiday advice. My younger brother is trans. My parents have been horrendous about dead naming and misgendering him, so at Thanksgiving, I used an air horn to correct them. I fixed the 2 to 3 year long problem in 2 seconds. 10 out of 10 would recommend this training method. That's the correct way. That's what I wish I could. No, I just like walk away. If you're getting misgendered, like you just kind of blow it off or make fun of them back, or it's just your standard sort of response, poke back, whatever you're in the mood for. But if somebody else is getting misgendered, like you're way more defensive of them. Like if your best friend is getting misgendered, you are like all teeth and nails. Someone spray painted over a speed camera by my house. I have no legal commentary on this. I have lots of commentary. None of it's legal. Look, if you want people to slow down, put a speed bump in. Mexico City, AP. At first, it sounds like a typical case of bad behavior aboard airplanes. Like how that's linked, like there's a whole Wikipedia catalog of all the crazy crap. But the Mexico City International Airport acknowledged in a statement Friday that a man had opened an emergency exit and walked on the wing of a plane that was parked and waiting for takeoff Thursday. The airport said the man had been turned over to the police, but dozens of fellow passengers signed a written copy of a statement saying the airline made them wait for 4 hours without ventilation or water while the flight was delayed. According to photos of the statement posted online, fellow passengers said he acted to protect everyone with the support of everyone. The airport said in a statement that yesterday, a passenger on a flight to Guatemala opened an emergency door on a plane while it was stationary at a remote position, stood on a wing, and then re-entered the cabin, probably realizing how tall the wings of aircraft actually are, which are pretty tall, without affecting the aircraft or anyone else. Yeah, I know they have the whole in the US, they have the whole 2-hour waiting thing vouchers, but I think after a certain point, it's just like, no, I'm getting off. Like, we're parked, I'm leaving, I'm done. Found this roadkill deer and stood it up to slow down traffic. I mean, if it'll get people to slow down, good. Way too many people fly around like mountain roads and stuff. According to legend, Cole once hosted a party at which the guests discovered that they all had the word bottom in their surnames. According to another story, he bought tickets for particular seats at a theatrical performance he considered pretentious and distributed them to 8 bald men whose heads, painted with a single letter, spelled out the word bollocks. Another source claims it was 4 men's heads, making the word frack, which was legible from the circle and boxes above. That's a really good idea. I just learned the term guerrilla gardening. Gardening. Strawberries planted in public. Oh my God. The terror, guerrilla gardening on a Los Angeles street. That's just fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't believe you were able to save my house from that fire. Pow. Sigh, the captain is the most dedicated firefighter I've ever met. So why does he have to act like such a terrible human being? 50 years later, and now for the final step of my plan. Beep, 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 beep. Bring it, Satan. This is like the bit in Doom, but at one point there's a boss fight. You finally kill the boss, and the boss falls through to hell, and you do too, and you have to fight them again in hell. This is fantastic. Just watch a man bringing home a goldfish on the train accidentally pop the bag, fish flops onto the floor, 3 people swarm to save him. The fish, not the man. Guy chugs the last of his coffee and throws the fish in his cup. Lady next to him empties her bottle of water. You see the craziest stuff on the subway? This doesn't surprise me at all. You can't give her that, it's not safe. It's a sword. They're not meant to be safe. She's a child. It's educational. What if she cuts herself? That will be an important lesson. Yeah, I'm glad things overall are safer nowadays. Furious mother squirted her boob at a woman who told her to move while she was breastfeeding because it was distracting her husband. What the hell is wrong with the husband? Like, I get it, tits are pretty, but like, can you not? Tired of telling your landlord about the moisture and mold problem? Get an oyster mushroom kit. So they can't ignore it anymore. I just saw this on Reddit. This is terrifying, but fantastic. Does this count if you just self-test without evidence of having done anything chaotic good? Moral alignment test. No, I think this actually, because like, I'm somewhere between chaotic good and chaotic neutral, depending on the day. But in practice, I'm usually like lawful good to neutral good. Thank you, kind vandal. Nearest free machine, Tesco. 5 minutes. Lundus Garden, Bank Street. 2 minutes. That's wonderful. I love that. There was some in New York that would charge you $4. In the deli near my college was like $1.99. It was painful. Someone made a rather unique donation to the Children's Hospital. Oh no. Someone donated like 200 of them Ian Malcolm Funko Pops, and we can't get rid of them. What? That's incredible. The donor is truly a master of chaos theory. Okay, this isn't chaotic good. It's chaotic cringe. Oh, shut up. Don't worry about people talking about you behind your back. Of course they do. The local villagers always have legends about the terrifying things they meet in the dark. Make the things they say about you be in whispered tones. Ancient evil awakens. Morals and ethics have changed so much in the last 10,000 years that the ancient evil is considered pretty moderate by today's standards. The ancient evil is just a corporation.
I will topple your empires and your kings. I will drain the wealth from your coffers and elevate your serfs and servants until they stand on the same ground as the mightiest of emperors. Women shall freely speak their minds, unbound by the fetters you have set, and the lines between man and woman shall be hopelessly blurred and shattered into 1,000 pieces. Facets, whatever. Your children shall fall into one another regardless of sex or class or wealth, and none shall raise a hand or a word against them.
Oh, we're working on the last part.
The age of crowns and boundaries and divine right shall end, and out shall fall to each human to choose their— why are you cheering?
I kicked burning terrorists so hard in the balls that I tore a tendon in my foot. Good job. Ow. Moved to the middle of nowhere and disrupted service for the rural ISP's network, downloading AI models. He gets in touch, and the guy quadruples my speed and tells me to only run it at night. Aw, good job. Up to 200. Wow. Okay, so it was cable. Thank you for getting back to me. I do need more bandwidth. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, I work with AI. Be able to run a speed test for me? I think I can get you 250 meg with your current setup. Very fair. Thank you. Aw, that's very sweet. My neighbor has a wooden board with a picture of Trump's face on it that says 2024 in his front yard. Me and the guy is just super glued a ding-dong to Trump's nose. Looks great! He's out there trying to yank it off. His wife's yelling, grab it with both hands! That's beautiful. That's just absolutely beautiful. Sister-in-law had her driving test today. There are 3 possible spots they use to test reversing round a corner, and one of them she just couldn't master. So stepdad Ken went and parked his car there, so the examiner had to pick one of the other 2. Anyway, she passed. Yeah, unless you live in New York or like a really small like fishing town or something with like no space, you're not gonna need to parallel park that much in the US. And by the time you do need to parallel park, it will have been years and you'll have forgotten how to do it anyway. So like, stepdad Ken, you're the hero we all need. Saw this in my town today. Can't we all just get along? I agree, that sounds great. Stop trying to make medical decisions for other people, especially trans kids. And then, yeah, we can get along.